Part 49. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 488. Chapter 481 The Endless Daily Routine of Saying I Like You. Saturday off in early September. There is one day left before Aling's concert, which will be held at 8 p.m. on Sunday. When Raku Sakakihara goes out to buy daily necessities such as shower gel and laundry detergent, he can always see Stellar Vwijk's oversized promotional posters on the commercial street. Holding the stars in her hands and looking up, Suzu Sakakihara looks particularly shining on the big screen. When Raku Sakakibara was holding a plastic bag from the supermarket and standing at the intersection waiting for the traffic light, he saw the bright and handsome military tactical attire on the big poster Suzu and was very confused. Is this real or is it fake? It was 10 o'clock in the morning when I got home. There are no clouds in the sky and the sky is clear. Aling is definitely not at home right now because she has a concert tomorrow. Yuki is most likely sleeping in at this time. Well, in July, I didn't see her reading in the living room, probably in the bedroom. Ruri Sakakihara looked around the house and saw no shadow. He must have gone for a morning run? Anyway, when he went out, Liulai hadn't gotten up yet. Sakakibara put the groceries he bought into the refrigerator, took out the dirty clothes from his room, and opened Suzu's room on the way. He suddenly looked disgusted. Clothes are still thrown around. Sighing, he helped his sister clean up the dirty clothes scattered on the floor beside the bed, and threw all her school uniforms, white shirts, bows, etc. into the dirty clothes basket. Pinching her nose, she picked up the white piece of fat she had casually thrown on the quilt with her fingertips in disgust, and casually threw it into the place where she usually kept her underwear. Sakakibara went out to wash his hands before coming back and taking away the dirty clothes basket. I don't know if Aling is so busy that she has relapsed into her old habit and doesn't even know how to put away her underwear. If she lives alone in the future, her home will definitely be filled with countless used instant noodle boxes, making her look sloppier than the average homebody, and the whole room will be crawling with cockroaches. If fans knew that she likes to throw away her underwear, would they still like this guy? I don't know what kind of girl idol this loser is. Shaking his head in disappointment, Sakakihara knocked on the door and went to Yuki's room again. Tianhai's Higsu is indeed sleeping. The sun shines right on her white feet. Her hair is shiny and her breathing is even. She looked very peacefully sleeping while holding a white cat doll in her arms. The big white flower that I usually wear behind my head rests on the bedside table. In addition to the big white flower, Higsu Life Manual and several other cat dolls are also on it. These are small school opening gifts given to Yuki by Kyo Liulai and Aling. It can be seen that Yuki values these things very much. The clothes were packed neatly. Sakakihara took a closer look and found that the only clothes she had to wash were a school uniform skirt and a white shirt. It seems that Yuki has memorized the rule of packing clothes well. Yuki was so obedient, and seeing her sleeping beautifully, Sakakibara felt a little more sorry for her in his heart. He went over and pulled the quilt for her, covering her exposed shoulders again. Came outside Julai's room. After knocking on the door, Tianhai Chi Minjiao took the initiative to open the door. She was still wearing pajamas, her long flaxen hair was tied into low twin tails, and the new pair of glasses she had recently been given was still hanging on the bridge of her nose, and she looked like she was reading a book. July. When Sakakibara saw her, he wanted to go up and kiss her with a smile. As a result, Amamai Nanamai turned away and took out a white shirt with his backhand and put it in the dirty clothes basket held by Sakakibara Raku. I only have one piece of clothing, please wash it for me. Chi-chi, when you ask for help, shouldn't you show a little sincerity? Sincerity? Yes, Cheng. Before he finished speaking, Tianhai Kaimingyu came over to him expressionlessly, tapped him lightly on the face, and then said, I want to read a novel, and I'll leave it to you for the clothes then. The door slammed shut. Sakakibara Raku was left standing there in shock. He touched his cheek in disbelief, and the slight warmth on his lips seemed to still remain on top. This. Being kissed like this by Chikio, did you feel a little happy in your heart? Although he originally thought it was okay to help Kyo wash a piece of clothing, but after being kissed like this by her, the situation changed instantly. From indifferent to happy to help her wash clothes. Sakakihara Raku actually felt that he was being pulled hard by Chi-Chi's hand, and he could let her do whatever she wanted. It is indeed a woman's little trick. Separating the clothes that everyone wanted to wash, Sakakihara put the clothes that could be thrown into the washing machine in batches for cleaning. The clothes that could not be machine washed were washed on the balcony with a basin of hot water. The weather is just right now, so it's quite comfortable to wash clothes in the sunshine. Halfway through, Raku Sakakibara heard the sound of the door opening at the entrance. When he turned around, he saw that it was Amamikuruori returning home after running. As soon as she saw Raku Sakakibara washing clothes, she immediately walked over to help him after washing her hands. Sakakihara Raku was quite happy when he saw Amamikuruori, who was wearing a high ponytail and wearing shorts and short sleeves, sitting next to her. While chatting while wearing clothes, Sakakihara said with emotion, "Ruri is still good to me." Unexpectedly, Ruri became dissatisfied all of a sudden. Lejun is so embarrassed to say it. Tianhai Yuli was so angry that she didn't even look at him. What's wrong? You ask me what's wrong. Last time I went out on a date with Chi-Chi, I didn't go home until 10 o'clock in the evening. Sakakihara looked at her and understood instantly. Feelings are jealous of what happened yesterday. When we went home last night, both of us were still very happy. Tianhai Yuli rubbed her underwear vigorously, her hands covered with white bubbles. I was the only one who was busy at school until 7 o'clock, so I couldn't leave. Then we went home and made dinner. Yuki and I have been waiting for you to come home for dinner, but there was no news at all. Sakakibara laughed deliberately. Ruri is quite capable, so diligent. Amamikuruori hit him, and without beating around the bush, he took the initiative to ask Sakakihara Raku with a slightly aggrieved expression, "Why didn't you take me with you on the date yesterday?" This is it. Sakakibara avoided looking because it was difficult to explain the reason. Could he say that because he wanted Kyo to always wear her cherished glasses, he wanted to deliberately take her to watch a horror movie and scare her in the middle? Definitely not. This is nonsense. When Tianhai Yuli saw his answer, he became even more sad. He didn't say anything and just washed his clothes. July is usually a jealous month. But why not Li Yuli? If Li Yuli's biggest emotion towards her is the word dependence, Li Yuli would definitely not be so stingy normally. If she spends more time with Kyo, she won't say anything, and she will even be happy that she does. As for why Li Yuli is so jealous now, probably he and Chi-Chi failed to go back on time, and because they were watching a movie, their mobile phones were muted the whole time, and they forgot to go home for dinner, which made Li Yuli wait for a few people at home for a long time after preparing the meal. Li. Dot. Li. Dot. Ruri-chan. Dot what? Sakakibara laughed, and he knew as soon as he saw Li Yuli's expression that she wasn't really angry or sad at all. She was just a little dissatisfied. He knew that it was not easy to shamelessly hold her and coax her at this time. So after seeing her finally respond to him, he patiently explained. Yesterday, I went out alone with Chi-Chi. I didn't mean not to call her Li Yulikian. Well, Tianhai Yuli looked at him a little longer. Then what? The reason Chi-Chi went out alone yesterday was because Chi-Chi changed her glasses a few days ago. You know this, right? I know, but what's going on? I didn't expect that July's birthday gift would be so important to her. It's been a long time since her eye level increased. It was because she couldn't bear to part with the gift I gave her, so she never changed it. I took her to change it. After that, I was afraid that she would always be entangled in such insignificant things, so I wanted to take her out to play, so that she could be happy and not have to dwell on things all the time. Liuli, you also know that I have done a lot to apologize to you. And July, so I thought about trying to be nicer to her. I haven't taken the initiative to take her out on dates a few times. Sakakibara tried his best to speak softly. After Tianhaijuli Yulai heard this, he understood what he was thinking. She is not the kind of person who will do whatever she wants just because others take care of her. She has always believed that a certain amount of space should be left for each person's feelings. She was a little unhappy, but she felt it was unfair. Sakakihara was happy to see that Ruri softened a lot after thinking about it, so he approached her and apologized to her. It's indeed my fault this time. I failed to take care of your feelings, Liuli, and made you prepare dinner and wait for us in vain. I'm sorry. Tianhaijuli Yulai originally wanted to blame him, but when he apologized, his heart suddenly softened. I didn't mean to say that we have to be together or something, it's just that Liuli is afraid of being left in the corner because of past experiences. I know this. Well, I won't do this again next time. I will go home on time and never overtime. Julajun always hurts people's hearts, although this time it's just a small problem. I didn't do it on purpose this time. Lejun always needs to change his habit of forgetting things. No problem. Liuli's character is really good. Even in the situation like yesterday, if you say a few words to her and explain things well, she won't be angry. But the verbal compensation was unconvincing, so Sakakihara took the initiative to take over Ruri's affairs and asked her to go to the living room to watch TV and rest. After washing the clothes, he asked Liuli what she wanted to eat. After receiving the answer, since there were no ingredients at home, Sakakibara immediately went downstairs to buy some in a large supermarket. When she came back from shopping for groceries, Tianhaijuli Yulai felt a little apologetic. Is it too much to ask Lejun to go so far because of these things? When Sakakibara heard this, she immediately felt that Ruri was indeed a good girl who could take care of others. It was obvious that he had made a mistake just now. After Sakakibara put the dishes away, he pushed Liuli directly to sit on the sofa and let her have a good rest. By the way, I'll massage her legs and stuff. This made Liuli even more embarrassed. No, she shook her head. What's not working? We cannot simply accept so many services from Lejun. Sakakibara laughed a little. Is it okay for Ruri to give my girlfriend a squeeze on her shoulders? No, Tianhaijuli Yulai answered decisively, because even in a relationship, no one has to pay all the time, right? Even if it's a marriage, if the wife calls her husband to serve him all the time, it won't last long. If you come down, there will definitely be a gap in your heart, and vice versa. If you want to maintain a good relationship, both parties must give and interact. You help me and I help you, which is the right thing. Sakakibara Raku, then am I not compensating you, Ruri? Tianhaijuli Yulai shook his head and said very seriously, Lejun will compensate me by cooking for me at noon, and the rest of the service will be within the limit. Should we say that Liuli is more sincere, or should we say that she is simply cute in her outlook on love? He actually didn't want to take advantage of himself. Well, in terms of relationships, Liuli, you have given more, why didn't you tell me? Even if it means giving Liuli a lifetime of pinching her shoulders, it still makes sense. Probably because he thought it was too cute for a big girl like Ruri to say these things seriously, Sakakihara Raku couldn't hold it back and hugged her on the sofa, rubbing her face against hers. Liuli's skin is smooth and thin, and because of regular exercise, her arms don't feel as fragile as those of ordinary girls when pinched. Hug her, Put your face against her cheek, and you can feel the temperature of her face rising a lot. It is obvious that this kind of close contact will make her quite shy, and she will feel sweet and warm inside, having someone with her. It feels so good to hold. Sakakihara Raku felt that it was really comfortable to hold Ruri like this. Her body was soft and smooth, and he could smell the girla fragrance on her body. His body temperature rose soon after. Luli, do you want a kiss? Tianhaijuli Yulai gave him a shy look, clearly saying, why should I talk about this kind of thing? She didn't refuse. Li Yulai is like this, how can there be any reason not to kiss her? The 5 fingers slowly drilled through the thin slits on her fingertips and stuck tightly. When she is a little shy, kiss her lips again. The most interesting thing about kissing is that Ruri will respond enthusiastically and clasp the other person's palm tightly with her fingers, instead of Sakakibara just nibbling on it. Even after pouting for too long, Sakakibara's mouth was filled with the scent of glass. Still, it's not enough. Want to kiss again? If she was shy when she kissed Liulai, then when she responded, she was extremely enthusiastic. Sakakibara kissed him and found out of nowhere that Liulai was pressing him on the backrest of the sofa, and then Liulai sat on his lap. His hands were pressed hard by Liulai. If he didn't use some strength, he wouldn't be able to move. When the kiss finally broke apart, Liulai's cheeks were already red. Lejun. Really like you. Sakakibara smiled faintly, put his arms around her slim waist and pressed her face against hers. Ruri, you said this as if you were confessing your love to me. I just like you so much. Then can I pretend that Liulai is acting coquettishly and confessing her love to me? To be so clingy after a kiss. This is really true. I'm going to make lunch soon, how about a little hug? Good. It was as if there was a piece of candy in her mouth. As soon as Ruri finished responding to her words, Sakakihara felt that she had taken the initiative to bump into his arms, pressing her soft and fragrant cheek tightly against the side of his face. Rubbing comfortably. Sakakihara Raku felt a little emotional. Liulai is really a coquettish little girl. She is still a tall girl. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 489. Bang. Tada, snap. Oh ha. Ah, no, it's good afternoon. Brother, are you making lunch? Bell. Aling. Hearing the sound, Raku Sakakibara, who was hugging Ruri on the sofa, was surprised. Suzu Sakakihara's coat hangs loosely on her shoulders. She has her hands on her hips. The combination of black tie and white shirt makes her look a little mature. Humph, wait a minute, what are you doing on the sofa again? Originally she was quite proud and happy because she went home to rest. But after she broke into the house and saw Sister Liulai sitting on her brother's lap, she immediately became extremely panicked and even covered her face. After being quiet for a while, Sakakihara Suzu secretly saw that her brother's pants were in good condition through her eyes. I thought you were doing something in the living room again. She immediately breathed a sigh of relief, but still showed a complaining expression. Really, it's almost noon and we are still hugging each other like this. This is at home. I just know how to show affection to Sister Liulai. Sakakibara Suzu suddenly came home to the living room sofa. Seemingly remembering something bad, Amamai Kuriyuri shyly sat next to Sakakibara Raku. Actually, Sakakihara Suzuya is quite embarrassed. It seems that she broke up Sister Liulai's good deeds like this last time, causing Sister Liulai to have a psychological shadow, and she even put herself in confinement for a week. Seeing Sister Liulai in such embarrassment, Sakakihara Suzu, who was a little embarrassed, clicked her hands and clasped her hands together. Sorry. Suzu, you still know how to apologize. Raku Sakakihara sighed helplessly, Also, why didn't you ring the doorbell when you got home? Sakakihara Suzu put her hands behind her back, stepped on her toes, and pouted, "Well, I'm used to surprising you like this, brother." Also a surprise. This guy. Sakakihara Raku was suddenly afraid that one day in the future, a Ling would suddenly break in when he was accompanying Kyo and Liulai at night. He also yelled something like, "Brother, I'm here for you," which made the three people on the bed extremely embarrassed. The most embarrassing thing is that I might bring Yuki with me. I taught Yuki a bad lesson. Brother is angry. No. I'm just angry. Sakakihara Suzu pursed her lips. If I say no, I mean no, Suzu. Just remember to ring the doorbell next time you come home. Sakakihara Raku was helpless. Okay. But even if you kiss in front of me, I won't say anything. This guy doesn't pick up any pot, right? Or do you want to see me kissing your sister Liulai? Sakakihara Raku was almost speechless by Suzu. Forget it, let's talk about why you're back, Ailing. Aren't you practicing? There's a concert tomorrow. What are you doing back at noon? Sakakihara Suzu's body swayed, and her short skirt also swayed, looking a little aggrieved. What? Can't I come back, or did I expose the good thing between you and sister Liulai and make you angry? It's not that he's angry because he and Liulai didn't do anything at all. Aling's aggrieved tone again. Okay, I'm not angry, it's just don't come over here. Hey, if that's the case, then I want to give you a good hug. Brother Sakakibara Suzu smiled and heard half of the words, and jumped directly into Sakakibara's arms. I love you to death. Aling, what are you doing? I want a hug. What's wrong? My girlfriend can hug me, but my sister can't. How about you hug me in the same way you hugged sister Liulai just now? Or do you dislike me? Luli is watching. Sister Liulai doesn't know what to say. Look at sister Liulai still snickering. Tianhaijuli Yulai smiled. I just think that the relationship between Lingjiang and Lejun is very good. Right, brother, you see sister Liulai said this, hug me. Hug me quickly. Hug me hard. Okay, Raku Sakakihara knew that she was joking with Liulai, so he pushed her away from him and said with a serious face, Azu, give me a serious answer, why are you home at this time? Did you sneak back? Why do you have the same tone as mom? Brother doesn't welcome me. Welcome, how can I not welcome you? Sakakihara turned to face Tianhaiju Liulai again, isn't that right, Liulai? It's nothing to ring home. I just want to ring the doorbell before entering the room. As soon as Sakakihara Suzu saw Amamai Kuruuri's face, she immediately felt embarrassed. Well, I'll pay attention to this. But, she immediately changed the subject. Sister Liulai, as I said just now, it's not like I don't know about your relationship with my brother. Even if I see you two naked together, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I understand I am already an adult. Tianhaijuli Yulai. Sakakihara Raku. Well, Suzu Sakakihara continued to explain, as for why I'm here, it's because we're on vacation. Holiday, Tianhaijuli Yulai was puzzled. Raku Sakakihara then asked, do you have a day off for the concert tomorrow? Oh, I've been practicing too much recently, and I have to go on stage again tomorrow. So, Sakakihara Suzu said, laughing brightly, in order to relax everyone, I will take a special half-day holiday. Seeing her smile, Sakakibara thought to himself. Finished. As for why it's over. It was Sakakihara Raku who had just discussed with Liulai whether he and Chi-Chi could have a party at home in the afternoon, but it all came to nothing. Brother, what's your expression like? Sakakibara tried his best to smile. I'm glad you're home, Suzu. That's good, Sakakihara Suzu is a pure optimist. She looks so happy every day. She sat on the sofa and stretched out her legs. So what should we eat for lunch? Boiled beef and braised pork, as well as egg soup and vegetable salad. Eating so good. As expected of me, brother. I love you so much. I love you so much too, little ancestor. Asterisk. Lunch was busy with Li Yulai. The lunch dishes were originally meant to compensate Li Yulai, but Li Yulai didn't care at all and still came to help wash the meat and cut vegetables. While Sakakihara was busy, he couldn't help but sigh. If you marry a good wife like Li Yulai and go home, you will be happy for the rest of your life. Whether it's in life or physically. Busy and make lunch. He went to the room to call Chi-Chi to come out for dinner, and urged Yuki to get up after sleeping in. Yuki currently likes braised pork the most. When she heard that she wanted to eat this, she immediately entered a well-behaved state. In the end, the braised pork was not enough, and she watched helplessly as Aling took away the last piece of braised pork, looking quite sad. After eating a happy and satisfying meal, everyone fell into a state of doing nothing. Tian Haikimingyu began to sit on the single sofa and read a book. Aling, Li Yulai and Zhixu began to play PS5 games in front of the 100-inch large TV in the living room. Raku Sakakihara just scrolled through the videos and took a look at the study materials that his uncle asked him to read when he had nothing to do. The girls had a lot of fun playing the video games at first, but after playing for a while, Sakakibara clearly felt that they were a little tired. Sakakihara Raku was scrolling through his cell phone, and there was a slug on the sofa, squirming on its back. Brother. Sakakibara put down the phone and saw his sister's forehead on his legs. What? How about you take us out to play? Take a trip out? Aling, you girl have the nerve to say that. If you hadn't come home suddenly, your brother would have been playing happily with your two sisters at home all afternoon without taking a break. Sakakibara looked up at the weather outside the balcony. It's too hot. Going out consumes too much energy. You have to perform on stage again tomorrow, which is not good. Ah, but it's so boring. If you're bored, go find Li Yulai and the others to play games. I can't beat them in fighting games, it's no fun. Sakakihara Suzu was discouraged and pinched the flesh of her brother's leg with her fingers. It's getting warmer for no reason today. It's already September. This year is really weird. Sakakibara frowned and smacked her claws away, and continued to scroll through his phone. Then just stay at home. No way. Brother. Why are you so surprised? How about we play the king's game, the kind of game where whoever loses must obey absolutely? Sakakihara thought she had no good intentions. What will you do after you win? I want you to strip naked, bro. What kind of evil sister are you? Or order Sister Kyo to kiss Sister Li Yulai for 10 minutes. Amamai Kaimingyu put down the book and glanced at Sakakibara Suzu diagonally opposite. Reject. Raku Sakakihara refused directly, troubled. You have some crooked ideas. Ah then brother, what do you think you can play? Sister Li Yulai bought some of the CDs she bought last time and they have all played them. I don't see any games that I'm interested in. This is indeed not an option. Letting everyone be idle at home is idle, why not find something to do? Especially Aling, she can kill people when she sticks to them. It's not possible to go out. It's getting warmer today and it's a scorching 30 degrees day. Since I can't go out, I have to stay at home. What can I do at home? Sakakibara suddenly had an idea. He waved to his sister and asked her to put his ears over. What? Just come over here. All right. Sakakibara Suzu leaned in and listened, her face lit up with joy. She kept nodding and saying yes, this is good. This is good. But I think it will be more atmospheric at night. At night? That's not bad. Then, errands. Sakakibara Suzu got off the sofa with bare feet and saluted Sakakibara Raku, brother, make sure to complete the task. Make sure to rent the best looking and most atmospheric disc when you come back. Major Suzu Sakakihara, this mission is of great importance. Please return as soon as possible. Yes. My lord. It's quite interesting to have a voice actress sister, who can play various role-playing roles. Sakakihara Suzu left the living room and ran out of sight. Only then did Julie Yulai look towards her. Tianhai Julie Yulai squeezed the handle and asked curiously, what did a ling do? Sakakibara deliberately let it slip, don't worry, we'll find out when Suzu comes back. Fine. Asterisk. In fact, it's nothing special. I just asked a ling to go to the video store to rent a disc of a wonderful horror movie. Anyway, the elders are not at home on weekends, and everyone is together. It is quite interesting to gather at home and watch an exciting movie. By the way, you can also complete tasks. It's definitely not a horror movie that I asked my sister to rent just to see Chi-Chi's scared look. Absolutely not. Sakakibara waited until Suzu came back and then discussed the matter with Ruri. Watch a horror movie together. Right. This is not good. Luli is afraid of these. I don't know, I haven't seen these. Ruri, have you never seen these movies since you were a child? Sakakihara Raku was curious. There are still girls in modern times who have never seen horror movies. Aren't they all beings who can watch these things and eat them? Yeah, after all, these movies don't have any important information. I had very little rest time before Kyo, and there are too many things to learn. Our Lady is worthy of being Our Lady. Just the purpose of watching movies is much higher than that of ordinary people. But yes, as long as they are not looking for novels, few people will watch horror movies. At most people will watch some criminal investigation films with some thriller elements. Young ladies like Kyo and Liulai would never watch horror movies, which are almost devoid of nutrients and have debuffs. There's nothing wrong with me. It should be fine in July, right? But will it scares Higgs-you? I'll ask. Sakakibara turned around and found Amami Nizuki. Unexpectedly, she actually said it was no problem. Wait, Yuki, do you know horror movies? Have you seen similar movies? I've seen The Bell Belt. This guy a ling. Yuki, aren't you afraid? Tianhai's Higgs-you looked at him and blinked. I don't know what there is to be afraid of. It's just that ling keeps digging into my arms. Innocent. Yuki's face is nothing but innocent. Is this the innocent girl who can destroy all evil spirits? Then, okay. All that's left is July. Sakakibara quietly pulled up a stool and sat down next to Nanami, and told her about this matter. Another horror movie. Why do you say again? Didn't you just want to take me to watch this type of movie yesterday? I don't understand why you are always obsessed with it. If you want to watch it, just watch it. I don't care. Are you going to run away in July? Why do you say that? How else could you agree so readily? I don't like reading. If you want to put it in the living room, then I will have to go back to the study and read. July Raku Sakakibara immediately hugged Nanami's hand. Want to act like a spoiled brat again? My sister is watching from the side, so don't be ashamed. You are my wife anyway, so it's okay for me to act coquettishly towards you. How about you just watch it with us? Tianhai Kaimingyu was silent for a while. Give me a reason. The reason is that everyone wants to watch it together. Not enough. I want you to see July. Not enough. Then I can't leave you in Kyoto, otherwise I'll always feel like something is missing. I don't think so. And you have been avoiding elements like this in Kyoto, and you said that you are not afraid of these at all. To be honest, it is difficult to convince me. You want me to prove that I'm not afraid of ghosts. That's what it means. and in July, we agreed that we should be honest with each other. Probably this sentence touched July. Sakaki Hararaku saw that she was obviously showing signs of loosening. Only this time the voice was small. What? Just this once, Tian Haikaimingu sighed helplessly. After this time, don't bother me with this matter again, how about that? Make a deal. Sakaki Bararaku has been looking forward to watching horror movies and visiting haunted houses with July. Because it is very interesting to simply reflect these things that have never been seen before. It was absolutely not something that made Chi-Chi come to him crying for comfort. Absolutely not. Things were decided happily. I continued to play games in the afternoon, and the time soon came to 8 o'clock in the evening. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 490. After dinner. It was late at night, and the apartment was already on the 16th floor. Except for the flashing orange light of Tokyo Tower a few kilometers away, there were only windows in a few buildings that shone sporadically. To be honest, if there weren't enough lights in the living room, the room that was too big would still look a bit scary at night. Regarding the videotape that Aling rented, she also mysteriously did not answer, did not even say anything, just shook her head covertly. Rent a videotape and got possessed. No, Sakaki Harasuzu frowned and retorted, when I rented it, the boss said that you can't take this video out except when you want to watch it. Otherwise. Otherwise what? Otherwise you will be cursed. Sakaki Harasuzu's expression suddenly became terrifying. Sakaki Hararaku. Are you here to scare your brother? No matter how you think about it, this is what video store owners say when they scare little girls. The store manager is a boring uncle. He saw that Aling looked so cute and even came over to rent horror movies or something, so he wanted to scare her. Is the owner of the store where you rent videos an uncle? Huh, Sakaki Harasuzu was very surprised. Brother, how did you know? And he stayed alone in the store, looking very bored. Over there in Akihabara. Sakakibara was silent for a while before continuing. No one would open a video store these days, after all, there is no demand. Nowadays, the people who stay in such stores are usually uncles, and they will be very bored waiting in the store because there is no business. The business of the video store is not particularly bad, because there are certain types of movies that always need to be sold on discs. Tian Haikaimingu, who was reading a book, suddenly interrupted. What type is that? Tian Haijuli Yulai took the cut fruit and sat down on the sofa. Tian Haikaimingu covered half of her face with a book, and her eyes under the gold-rimmed glasses had a strange meaning. If my sister needs it, I can ask my brother to rent it for her and let us watch it together. Why do you have to ask Lejun? Tian Haijuli Yulai was puzzled. Because only the elder brother can go in. Don't know. Sister, you can ask your brother to rent one. I don't mind watching that one more than a horror movie. Amamai Kuruori turned to look at Sakaki Hararaku on the other side, only to see black lines all over his head. Can we watch that kind of movie together? Even if we get together to watch it, what can we discuss? How would you rate the actors' figures in Ichiban? Yuki can't look at those things. I can watch. No. Can watch. No. Okay, I want to watch it with Ellie. No, just no. By the way, Yuki, you know what we are talking about. Tianhai's Higsu was dumbfounded. Isn't it a movie? A movie is a movie, but not an ordinary movie. Raku Sakaki Hara hesitated. Hey, why did the topic come to this? Since the time is up, Suzu, don't eat your sister's potato chips in July. Go and take out the disc. Okay. Sakakihara Suzu ran back to her bedroom and came to the living room again. Only then did Sakakihara Suzu know what horror movie she had rented. The Grudge. What's so scary about this? Brother, have you seen it? No. You're still saying that if you don't have that. It's just that it's so well known that I feel like it's not very innovative. Then I'm different. Brother, you don't know. In order to find this movie, I specifically asked Tiano. Tianai understands this. Sakakihara Suzu, she has a lot of horror movies at home. Can't you tell that that weak-spoken girl actually likes watching horror movies? As expected, people cannot be judged by their appearance. Sakakibara Suzu held the disc with a scary-looking cover in her hand and shook it. Sano said that the Grudge you see online now are all movie versions, and the movie version has been deleted. And what I have in my hand is the original videotape version of The Grudge, and it's scary. The Grudge. Sakakihara Raku has heard about it for a long time. People have always said that this movie is very scary. But he had never seen it. First, it's unnecessary, and second, he doesn't like this type of movie. Liulai and Kia were also in the same situation. Sakakihara took the disc box from his sister and looked at it. On the dark red cover, there was a broken hand covering the face of a woman with her eyes closed. There is nothing outstanding about the picture, but the color combination of the cover makes people feel very uncomfortable. It has an eerie and cold feeling. In other words, just looking at this cover, coupled with the dilapidated and cursed word grudge on the top of the cover, is enough to make people feel palpitated by this movie at first sight. Raku Sakakibara especially handed the disc to Nanami, but she didn't expect that she would not accept it. Are you really afraid of ghosts? Who's scared? I simply don't like this style of film. Seeing that Chichu didn't answer seriously, Sakakihara turned to look at Tianhaiju Liulai. Are Chichi afraid of ghosts? What's unexpected is that Liulai doesn't seem to know that Kyo is afraid of ghosts. Have no idea. Don't Liulai know? I don't know. I don't know if I'm afraid of it. I've never seen it before. Then, okay. Sakakihara asked Yuki and Suzu again to confirm whether they wanted to watch it, and finally got their unanimous consent. When discussing seats, several people discussed it for a while. Kyo and Suzu had to sit next to Sakakibara no matter what they said. Liulai originally wanted to stay and sit next to Sakakibara, but she thought that Suzu was too timid, so she sat with the bravest Amami Yuki. Son. Turning off the lights in the living room, the surrounding environment instantly turned into pitch black. Raku Sakakibara inserted a DVD movie into the PS5 next to the TV, and Amami Kuruori operated the handle and clicked on the DVD playback mode of the PS5. Sitting back in the middle position of the sofa, the movie The Grudge is officially loaded. At the beginning of the film, a boy named Toshio Saiki has not been in class for many days. His grade teacher Shunsuke Kobayashi visits the house according to the address, only to find that the house is in a mess and smells bad. Toshio is also covered in bruises and remains silent. So Xiaolin decided to stay here and wait for Toshio's parents to come home. He called home and told his wife that he would be home later. When he turned around, he found that Jungxian was missing. At this moment, Xiaolin suddenly heard a strange noise coming from upstairs. There is nothing wrong with the plot up to this point, except that the noise upstairs seems a bit awkward when combined with the weird atmosphere in Toshio's home, but Sakakihara Raku finds that someone is leaning closer to him. Sakakibara Raku, who was focused on watching the plot, originally thought it was the girl Isuzu, because she was timid in nature. But what I didn't expect was that it was July. Are you so afraid of July? The plot continued to advance, and Xiaolin, who discovered that Toshio suddenly disappeared, heard the voice of a woman and a child upstairs. He walked upstairs on the creaky stairs and carefully opened the door. Strangely, he found that Toshio was the only one in the room. He curiously went up to chat with Junxian, but he heard another strange female voice calling his name behind him. He left the room and went upstairs again. He saw the originally closed door above, but slowly opened it. There is nothing surprising about the plot of this film, but the atmosphere and background sound are really great. Old houses, sudden strange sounds, children who suddenly disappear, and the faint voice of a woman calling the hero's name. Sakaki Hararaku was quite emotional when he saw it. Then the first climax of the film came. Xiaolin entered the room and kept hearing the faint sound of a woman's voice in the room. The room was already dark. He looked for a strange sound that suddenly appeared and scared him. He walked to the closet and the partition of the closet. There seemed to be something in the darkness. Xiaolin kept looking around and couldn't see clearly. He was very curious. He suddenly remembered that he still had the lighter he usually used to light cigarettes, so he lit the lighter and reached out to look at the upper partition in the closet. Suddenly, a woman with an extremely twisted neck and an extremely painful face appeared in his sight. Everyone present, except Zhixu, was frightened at this moment. Ruri was fine, but Suzu looked troubled. Although she didn't say anything, she took the initiative to hug Sakaki Hararaku's arm. This was an action to seek a sense of security. Sakaki Hararaku looks at July on the other side again. In July, her face turned blue. Isn't this the case? Rakusen Sakaki Hara felt her pulling his hand, lowered his voice, and asked in a low voice with concern, "Are you okay?" Tian Haikaiminyu hesitated for 2 seconds before reacting. She was obviously frightened by the woman. I don't know if it was because of Chi-Chi's personality, but she didn't make too many moves. Even if her face turned blue with fright, she only stared blankly for 2 seconds before replying it's okay. When the movie reaches the middle, horror movies always become more depressing toward the middle. Because Sakaki Baro was paying attention to the status of the women around him, he didn't pay much attention to the plot. He only knew that the woman who died at the beginning was named Kayako. Kayako loved Kobayashi, but was suspected of cheating by her husband. Then she died tragically together with her son Toshio. A curse formed in this room. When Raku Sakaki Hara returned to paying attention to the movie, he discovered that the victims in the movie had switched from Kobayashi at the beginning to the Murakami family. The Murakami family seems to have moved into Kayako's house, a family of 4. They gradually discovered that something was wrong with this house, and several people in the family died due to various bizarre incidents. Things are getting more confusing. The movie was already depressing enough, but after a series of foreshadowings, a child with no chin and a hanging tongue slowly turned around and should have died long ago, but walked back home staggeringly with bloody footprints. Daughter, Murakami Kansai. The women next to him were really frightened now. Fortunately, Sakaki Baro was not frightened by the ghost. Instead, he was frightened by Suzu's sudden scream next to him. Zhixu remained expressionless throughout the whole process, while Liulai's face turned blue. Another look at July. I won't watch anymore. How? Don't watch anymore. Tian Haikaiminyu was obviously frightened by the chinless woman just now, and her tone became much weaker. Didn't Kyo say at the beginning that she wasn't afraid? I'm just not very scared. But I won't watch it. Sakaki Hararaku has never seen Kyo look scared, but her current state should be regarded as scared, right? Her tone weakened and she held her hand tightly. Even though there was no fear on her face, judging from her pale expression, she was definitely frightened at that moment. It does feel a little bad to freak out about July. But the way she looked scared was a bit beyond expectations. He didn't cry, and he didn't throw himself into his arms. She just lowered her voice, held her hand, and said she didn't want to read anymore. Stop watching? This doesn't work. Keep looking. We've just arrived at the wonderful place. Don't want. Chi-Chi's tone is so cute, so weak, and weak. and Aling has been paying attention to the plot and not paying attention here. Sakakibara began to comfort her. Why don't you come closer to Chi-Chi so that I can hold you and you won't be so scared? I do not want. Are you really that scared? It's nothing. It's just a chinless picture that suddenly appeared. You still said? Ah. Okay, okay, I won't say that, I won't say that. I don't know if men have this habit of watching girls become weak, but Sakakibara is really happy in her heart. It's July. In July, I was so scared that I became weak just because I watched a horror movie. But it's actually not that soft. It's just that his face turned blue, his voice became softer, and he wasn't as strong as before. Sakakibara quietly held her close to him and whispered to her, if you really don't want to watch it in July, why don't you just lean on me and wait for the movie to end with your eyes closed? Next, Nanami stayed by Sakakibara Raku's side for almost the entire process. Sure enough, it's great to get girls to watch horror movies and cuddle with them casually. Asterisk. The movie is over. Sakakibara Raku felt that the movie was not as scary as rumored, but the other girls unanimously approved of it. Apart from Zhigzu feeling nothing, Liuli's symptoms were the mildest. Aling also made a reservation for Zhigzu's bed in advance and wanted to sleep with her at night. Tian Haikimingyu waited until the movie was over and went back to the room without saying anything. Amami Juri looked at her sister and asked Sakakibara curiously, is she okay in Kyo? It looks fine. Although it wasn't as scary as I imagined, there were still several scenes that scared me. Yes, yes. Especially the woman without a chin, it's so scary. Sakakibara Suzu asked Amami no Yuki, why didn't you react at all, Yuki? What? It's that scene from the movie, didn't you see it? That scene with no chin. I saw it, Amami Nazuki replied while staring at Sakakibara Suzu. Yuki, what do you think of that scene? Tianhai's Higsu answered directly, it turns out that if you didn't have a chin, your tongue would be hanging like that. It's so novel. Good. So novel. Sakakibara Suzu couldn't complain. Anyway, the horror movie is over. There was no entertainment from horror movies. They all took a shower together and slept together at night. Fine. Raku Sakakibara felt that the film was just barely good. I wonder if it's because of the advancement of the times. Old horror movies no longer have the same feel, or if it's because today's video games are more terrifying. Is it okay in July? Asterisk. After washing up, I went to bed. In the middle of the night, when Sakakibara was feeling groggy, he suddenly felt the quilt moving. I wasn't scared by the ghost movie, but I was scared to death at this time. He quickly opened it and found that it was July. Sakakibara Raku is not an idiot. He can see why Kyo got into his bed. Are you scared? Tian Haikimingyu obviously didn't want to admit it. Let's sleep together. Sakakibara laughed, pulled her to his chest and hugged her, just admit it if you're scared. I won't say anything. After Nanami buried her face slowly into Sakakibara Raku's chest, she remained silent for a long time. Finally, I have something to say. I'm not afraid of those things. I know, we are the only ones who are not afraid of ghosts in July. I said I was afraid. You must not laugh at me. Laughing at you? What are you doing laughing at Chi-Chi? By the way, why are you afraid of ghosts in Chi-Chi? Don't you know it's a lie? It's just that I don't like it a little bit, so it's not up to you. You're still being stubborn. Also, how do you mean you rely on me? Don't you remember? I remember what I told you before. Didn't I often look for you at night? There was a night road that I had to go back by myself. There was also a cemetery in your village over there. One day I went back by myself. I was originally worried about ghosts and the like, but a wild dog suddenly came out and scared me. It kept barking at me and made me cry. Now I always think it's nothing, but when I was a child, I was really scared. It's on. So. Sakakibara understood that it was not so much that she was afraid of ghosts, but that she was frightened by dogs when she was walking at night when she was a child, so she had a certain psychological shadow. This led to her not liking any haunted house or ghost movie she faced later. Wait, aren't you still afraid of ghosts? Hold me quickly. Huh? Okay, hold Chi-Chi. My sister is not afraid, but I am. If I come to sleep with you, will I be laughed at by her? How could this happen? Li Yulai was a little scared, but she probably felt it was nothing after taking a shower. Then you will sleep with me today. Okay, how about you call me brother in Kyo? It's nothing, just calling me brother. Elder brother. Chi-Chi held her in her arms and called her brother, and Sakakibara suddenly felt that her heart was about to melt. So cute. Shout again. Elder brother. Yes, yes, that's it, be more squeamish. Are you trying to push your limits? Calling you brother is already enough. That's right, it's not good to always take the opportunity to bully Chi-Chi like this. When she comes to her senses and is no longer afraid, she will be the one to suffer. No, I have to take the opportunity to be nice to her. Thinking of this, Sakakihara held Chiyu's quilt and held her in his arms to coax her. When nothing happened, he even rubbed her cheek and touched her waist. Hug her in bed and pamper her hard. I still want to hear Chi-Chi call me brother. What are you doing? If you want to hear it, come to July and shout again. Elder brother. Okay, Sister Kyo is so good, so good. With brother here, you won't be afraid of those things. Brother will protect you. Tian Haikimingyu is actually quite speechless inside, but he likes to shout like this, so he will make an exception today. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 491. Elder brother. Hearing Chi-Chi call me brother is indeed a great enjoyment in life. Even if Raku Sakakihara wakes up the next morning, he can still recall July who suddenly got out of bed in the middle of the night last night. To be honest, Sakakihara Raku was a little reluctant to believe that this was what Chi-Chi could say to herself. The usually so noble lady became like this just after watching a horror movie last night, and she was scared in the middle of the night. Come and find yourself sleeping under the covers. This made Sakakibara feel a little uncomfortable when he woke up and saw the girl still sleeping in his arms. He even suspected that the person sleeping in his arms in this position could only be Li Yulai. Why do you sleep like a child? Sakakibara Leto stared at Amami Nanamayu for a while, and couldn't help but laugh. His hands under the quilt slid up and down the girl's delicate waistline, feeling the skin, body temperature and the infinite intimacy of being able to hug her tightly. Touching the waist like this would have definitely been considered a rip-off in the past. But the relationship between Chi-Chi and himself was so close, so casually touching her waist and belly like this should be considered absolutely normal. Smell the faint fragrance on her body, maybe it's because the skin on Kyo's waist is too smooth and comfortable to touch. This is also the reason why I saw the girl in my arms wearing a thin suspender pajamas in the early morning, with her shoulders exposed in sight, and her face looked so sleeping. The beautiful Sakakihara looked at her and slid her waist. As she touched her, she blushed accidentally and became distracted. Sakakihara quietly moved his hand from the waist to the girl's thigh, and squeezed it slightly. The feeling was softer than a water ball. The pajamas I wear to bed in July are suspenders, the kind that fit close to my body. There was definitely no underwear on the upper body, and there was only a pair of underwear under the skirt. Now he was asleep again, fully qualified and defenseless. Or go in. Sakakihara Raku was a little embarrassed. It seems a little bad to touch Chi-Chi without her knowledge, right? She may be able to accept touching the waist, but other parts should have her permission. Well, yes, that's right. Even if you are dating, you should respect each other's opinions more. So excited so early in the morning. Hearing the sudden cold voice, Sakakibara immediately felt his hand under the quilt being pinched by another smaller hand. He looked into his arms and found Tian Haikaiminyu staring at him with half-closed eyes, looking very dissatisfied. Hand. July. I said, hands, what are your hands doing? Sakakibara knew he was in the wrong, and was embarrassed to see Kyo, and was still a little blushing. Give me an explanation, Tian Haikaiminyu continued to ask. Actually, I think lovers should maintain respect for each other. I don't think I can touch you without your knowledge in July, so I originally planned not to touch you. Originally, right? So you don't deny what you are doing now. Sakaki Hararaku felt even more embarrassed, his eyes drifting upward. After all, we're all in. You, this guy. Asterisk. Well. Sakaki Hararaku didn't expect that the atmosphere created by horror movies and July last night ended in that moment. After she got up and changed her clothes, she was still angry and combed her hair without saying a word. I wanted to joke with her and express my apology or something, but I wasn't that shameless. Okay, don't look like you want to say something to me, but you're too embarrassed to come forward. Amami Nanami spread her long flaxen hair and sighed to Raku Sakakibara, who was sitting on the bed. Aren't you a notoriously thick-skinned guy? Why don't you dare to talk to me now? What are you talking about in July? Actually, I am very thin-skinned even when I know I am in the wrong. Tian Haikaiminyu sneered, no matter how thin-skinned you are, you can't be thin-skinned, so you know you were wrong just now. I don't deny this. Then that's enough. Come here first. Sakakibara got out of bed wearing slippers. What? Do you know what it means to be responsible to the end? After 2 seconds of silence, I understood. I understood instantly. You said this expressionlessly in July, is it really appropriate? No, Chi-Chi, uncle is not. Do you listen to dad, or do you listen to me? Use your mouth. Asterisk. Hoo-ha, Sakaki Hara stood on the balcony, facing the rising sun, and stretched hard. Feel refreshed. Lejun is in good spirits early in the morning. Yes, Sakakibara put his hands on his hips and nodded in agreement with a smile. Has Lejun been a little too dependent on Kyo recently? She seemed to have gone to sleep in your room yesterday. Then I made breakfast and planned to go to Lejun's room to call Lejun, but I also heard some strange noises. Lejun, do you know what those are? The smile on Sakakibara's face disappeared with a smile. He turned around and saw Amami Kuruori, whose face was full of sunshine and smiling gently. Luli, actually. Hung Lejun, I understand even if you don't need to explain. I saw yesterday that Chi-Chi was a little scared, so I deliberately didn't look for you last night. Sakaki Hara suddenly didn't know what to answer. I don't care what happens to Lejun and Kyo. But more or less, I will care a little bit. Tianhai Juli Yulai smiled again, and the sun was shining brightly again, but as long as Lejun is happy, just show up in front of me, and I won't take those things to heart at all. Why is it that the more I hear this, the worse it gets? Could it be that Liulai is becoming a Yandere again? Sakaki Hara did not directly go up to coax Liulai like yesterday, but asked Liulai clearly what she thought. Fortunately, Liulai was really just joking just now. She had nothing but daily jealousy. Lejun is serious, then as promised, you are not allowed to accompany Kyo tonight. Okay, but I still want to ask, can't we come together? Lejun, I have been alone with Kyo for so long. Okay, then I will spend more time with Liulai alone. That's right. Asterisk. Today is the weekend, and a Ling's concert starts at 8 o'clock in the evening. After breakfast, she hurried to the company without even being able to say a few words. Li Yulai was good at coaxing her. Even after breakfast in the morning or lunch at noon, she would lean against him nonchalantly. Even when picking up food, she would take several more chopsticks than usual, as if to ask for help. July asserts her sovereignty. Sakaki Hararaku has a headache. Are the two sisters going to war again? It seems like something is wrong when I come back from the Comic-Con. Is it because you may be pregnant in July recently, so you need to take more care of July? It must be. When I coaxed Li Yulai yesterday morning, she responded more enthusiastically than before. She was obviously lonely. Then we watched horror movies together at night. Because Kyo was even more scared, Kyo took the initiative to come to see her. Li Yulai chose to take the initiative to protect her arms. Then in the morning, she did serious things with Kyo. So. Sakaki Hara understood and fell silent. He suddenly realized his weakness in this area. When dating two people at the same time, it is natural that you should master the intimate relationship with them at the same time. Even when you take care of one of them, you should not say anything, because the other party needs it very much, and it is natural to care more about the other party. I will wrong you first. For example, even if Chi-Chi is truly pregnant, she must not neglect Luli just because she takes care of Chi-Chi. Otherwise, the relationship between the two will lose a certain balance, and a war will be inevitable. Thinking of this, before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Sakakibara asked a few people to go out early. Let Chi-Chi know and let her take Ji Shui with her. Sakakibara took Ruri to the cafe alone to drink coffee. When Li Yulai heard that Sakakibara wanted to take her to drink coffee, although she didn't show anything on the surface, she was still secretly happy in her heart. Sakakibara also knew why she was happy, because now, she could be regarded as winning July. We found a modern cafe in Akasaka, Minato City. Sakakibara Raku and Amamai Kuriyuri sat down by the window together and casually opened the menu handed to them by the waiter. What do Li Yulai want to eat? Mousse cake. And show me, Lejun, how about we try the new grapefruit coffee? For cake, I will order chocolate for Lejun. There seems to be a co-branded coffee with some wine that is quite popular online. Isn't it here? It's in the next country, and Li Yulai can't drink bars now. Yes. Sakakibara smiled and held up the right side of his face, looking leisurely at Amamai Kuriyuri who was sitting by the market window with crystal earrings. The happy Li Yulai is quite cute, like a little girl. The earrings are also very pretty. Even when I see Li Yulai's crystal earrings, for some reason I always think of her mother. Mrs. Bertha, a Chinese-English mixed race, Li Yulai and Kyo definitely inherited her beauty and height. She is just very incompetent as a mother, always thinking about using her gifted daughter to expand her influence. By the way, Li Yulai, my aunt is a star, right? Does she want you to be stars or musicians? After the waiter left, Tianhaiju Li Yulai continued to flip through the menu. Why did Lejun talk about mom? Well, mom's idea is more like she wants us to take care of both. The celebrities over there are also quite confused. Auntie wants to use your status as a musician to improve your social status. No, my mother's status in the UK is not low, and she doesn't need to use those things to prove her identity. Musicians have a very high status in the eyes of ordinary people, but they can't meet the decisive conditions. Sakaki Hara heard something. His status is not low. Well, after all, Grandma is also a hereditary noble in the British ancestors. Tianhaiju Li Yulai was confused. What's wrong with Lejun? Sakaki Hara Lening choked for a long time. In other words, Li Yulai, you are considered a famous and influential young lady in both the UK and Japan. Why do you say that? I don't feel that way. However, from the perspective of ordinary people, it is probably true. Grandma said that he is a noble, but he is the same as ordinary people. It is a modern society, so there is something different. Sounds pretty outrageous. Even if Kiyo and Liuli are chaebols in Japan, are they considered half-traditional aristocrats in the UK? But if you think about it carefully, it seems to be very reasonable. First of all, in this world, there is definitely some truth to being a good match. Secondly, in addition to being beautiful in appearance, a young woman who can attract the attention of an uncle when he was young must also have a certain level of inner and intellectual qualities. Marriage contracts involving strong alliances are not uncommon in the real world. Luli said this, so probably Auntie's tutor should also be an elite tutor. Thinking about it this way, the life experiences of both uncle and aunt are not simple, but it is reasonable. Amamai Kuruori seemed to see what Sakakibara Raku was thinking, and said with a nice frown, "Raku-kun, don't think about these unnecessary identities, it doesn't matter to us." Sakakibara smiled and replied, "It's not that I think there's any difference. It's just that I think there's something classically beautiful about falling in love with a noble lady. Lejun is talking about some nonsense. Kiyo and I are classical. I can see that you have Western characteristics, but after all, you are only a quarter of the blood, so it is more of the style and temperament you have cultivated since childhood. In other words, the way Liuli drinks coffee now, I don't like it. You can see the word elegant. Let's talk about the composition of Liuli's temperament. That is probably British elegance, Chinese softness, and Japanese softness. If she is not in front of him, his character will appear stronger and tougher. In front of me, she is more of a gentle girlfriend with excellent temperament. Tianhaijuli Yuli was holding the coffee and pouted when he heard what he said, "It's really Lejun, so don't think about messy things. Liuli is so cute. How about telling me that you like me?" "Huh? Why?" "Luli, tell me." "Like Lejun." "I want to say, I like my brother the most. I really want to be held in my arms and loved by him." Tianhaijuli Yuli's face turned red. "How can you say such shameful words outside?" "What? Wait a minute." Raku Sakaki Hara took out his phone from his pocket and glanced at the screen. "Uncle is calling." "Dad?" Sakakibara didn't want to avoid suspicion, so he answered the phone directly in front of Liuli. While Amamai Kuruori was eating mousse cake, he watched Sakakibara Raku's expression change. It couldn't be said to be good or bad, but it was a little subtle. "What did Dad say?" Sakakibara put away her phone and looked at Amamai Kuruori opposite. "Isn't there Suzu's concert tonight?" Uncle said that my aunt will come to visit today and want to talk to you and Kiyo after the end. He asked me to convey to you too that the choice is up to you whether you want to see her or not." "Mom, are you coming today?" Tianhaijuli Yuli's expression changed obviously. "Why, there has been no news for so long." "I don't know. From how my uncle doesn't look disgusted, she probably doesn't come here just to drag you to England. He seems quite in favor of you meeting her." Tianhaijuli Yuli suddenly fell silent. Sakaki Hara Raku, who was sitting opposite, could also understand Ruri at this time. No matter how she said it, her mother was a hurdle in her heart. Friendly recommend a book. My Animal Taming Ranch Story. Zhang Simiao, who traveled through the world of beast control and became a beast master, resigned at the beginning of 996, and then settled in a remote town to inherit his grandfather's ranch. Farm, collect, explore, and make friends with wild pets. Farm leisurely. Only. Entering the ranch is a group of rare and powerful pet animals. When reporters came to inquire, Zhang Simiao felt helpless when he was forced to go out. "Actually, I really just wanted to complete my ranch illustration book at the beginning." Those extraordinary creatures, they are all my friends. You see, this is my friend book. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 492. Martial Arts Hall. Located in Chiyoda-ku, Tokyo. One of the most famous uses of this venue is to host martial arts competitions such as judo, kendo, and karate. In addition, it is often used in concerts, cultural events, and various large-scale performances. Many domestic and foreign music and artists have performed at Nippon Budokan, making it an important venue for cultural and entertainment events. It is precisely because of the long-standing symbolic meaning of Budokan that this place has become the ultimate goal of many idols. Standing on the Budokan stage can be considered a distant dream. Raku Sakakibara calculated the time. It has not been half a year since Suzu transformed from a voice actor to an idol voice actor, right? This stage performance was also her first official concert. She didn't expect to be able to stand on the Budokan. To say that the Amami family didn't secretly fuel a Suzu's career, Sakakibara Raku didn't believe it at all. On the way to the Budokan by taxi, Tian Haikimingyu also admitted this. Brother, do you think modern stars need strength or face? Face, Sakakihara tried to ask. Tian Haikimingyu pondered for a long time, none of them. What else are you asking about in July? Sakakihara Raku couldn't help but complain. The most important thing for a star in modern times is background strength. Multifaceted channels and backgrounds can allow a person to gain enough vision in society. As long as the publicity is wide enough, no one will remember it once, and no one will remember it twice. Remember, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. As long as you keep him active in the public eye, you will be successful. Sakakibara thought for a moment. In short, the most important thing is traffic, right? It can be understood this way. In fact, as long as a person is not too ugly, he can use makeup and plastic surgery to solve the problem. Strength is secondary. Tianhai's Higsu, who was sitting on the other side, said, but the bell singing is very nice. Ling's abilities are pretty good. Although she's not top-notch, she's still top-notch. In addition, her appearance is in line with idol-like cuteness, so I let her take on a few more commercials, placing them in Ginza, Shinkansen, Shinjuku Station, etc. every day. A large commercial district, coupled with the high quality of her fans, and her personal lack of bad spots, her popularity will naturally rise. It turns out that Ling has been accepting advertisements some time ago, and it was you in July who was behind it. And why, the more I listen to it, the more I think Ling is awesome. Tian Haikimingyu continued, Ling is still considered a second-tier celebrity idol, but among voice actors, she can already be considered a new first-tier one. There are several other fans at today's concert, so the martial arts hall will probably be packed with people. I don't know if Chi-Chi's predictions were too accurate or if she is just a crow's mouth. Several people arrived outside the martial arts gym at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The long steps outside the venue were already crowded with people. The car that several people were riding in couldn't even get inside, so they had to stop across a highway and then approach on foot. Tian Haikimingyu led Tianhai's Higsu and walked behind. As soon as they reached the opposite side, they were intercepted by a crowd of people. There are so many people. Tianhai's Higsu stood on tiptoes, but unfortunately she was still too tall to look inside. Raku Sakakihara observed his surroundings. There are wide stairs outside the martial arts hall. There are street lights among the flowers and trees on both sides of the stairs, and above the street lights is a promotional picture of the 5-member idol girl group Stellar Voice. Below the promotional picture are the fans waiting in line outside. There are fans holding cheering sticks. Some fans took electronic support boards with the characters Suzuki-chan written on them. Some fans simply tie a white headscarf on their heads, and then handwrite favorite, bell, favorite, Arya, on the top, which is similar to a declaration. What's even more outrageous is that there are a bunch of Ling's fans wearing cloaks of the same color, which reflect A Ling's shiny wink during a certain public appearance. Put your sister's smiling face on your cloak. Their 5-member band didn't have such enthusiastic fans before. In addition, there were 4 other fan groups gathered nearby, in different colors. For example, A Ling is red, so the clothes and cloaks worn by her fans are red. Kohana Maruyama is golden, and the clothes and cloaks worn by her fans are golden. By analogy, there are 5 groups of fans in cloaks gathered on the right side of the entrance to the venue, and the cheering sticks in their hands are also of different colors. Sakakihara looked at the crowd of people and felt awkward. This is too strange. Nanami ignored the noise around her, crossed her arms, glanced sideways at Sakakihara Rakugo, and interjected. Remind me, brother, this concert is a 5-person venue. Everyone has their own fan group, and because Stellar Voik is backed by the current popular animation, there will be many animation fans coming to the Budokan to support. Fans, the ingredients will be complex. It seems quite complicated. Tianhaijuli Yulai looked around curiously. I didn't expect Ling to be so powerful. Next time, do you want to ask Ling to dub a voice for my favorite game? Sister, why don't you let me buy a game studio for you and let them develop a game specifically for you, sister? Is this still possible? You work and you get paid. We give you money and we receive the results. It's no different from renovating a house. The crowd on the left suddenly started to get restless. Sakakihara Rakuten and others looked over and found a black Toyota Wilfa parked on the side of the road. This is a nanny car. In layman's terms, it is an MPV business car specially used to pick up and drop off celebrities and do their makeup. As soon as fans saw the car parked outside, they immediately became excited. There were too many people and the scene was too noisy. Amamai Nanamajetsu and Amamai Kuruuri didn't want to go there, so they just asked Raku Sakakibara, who was the tallest here, are Suzu and the others here? Probably Sakakibara raised his chin. Ellie, I want to see it too. You want to see it too? Then I can carry you on my back. Good. With the snow from the sky and sea on his back, after 3 or 4 minutes of lively waiting, the door of the Toyota Wilfa opened. 5 girls wearing beautiful team uniforms, with eyes shining like stars, stepped out of the car under the protection of security guards. It's the Belle. Well, that's her. The first person Raku Sakakibara saw getting out of the car was Suzu Sakakihara. The upper body was radiantly dressed, and the lower body was in a mini skirt that didn't reach the knees. She put on makeup, with stars in her eyes and a smile like a flower. As soon as she got off the car, she stroked the hem of her skirt, smiled and waved to the fans around her. When she said hello and showed up, fans also began to respond enthusiastically to her, throwing cheering sticks to the sky, and slogans kept bursting out from their mouths. Angel Angel, Suzu-chan, Angel, Suzu-chan. The scene got out of control for a while. Sakakibara looked around for a moment. The leader of the group of fans of Suzu seemed to be a group of uncles. It's hard to imagine that some uncles in their 30s and 40s were also shouting A Ling's name with excitement, calling her an angel, and waving colorful cheering sticks in their hands. The moment Sakakihara Suzu got out of the car, she seemed to sense something. Her eyes turned diagonally sideways, and she immediately saw Amamai Yuki waving to her from her brother's back. Sakakihara Suzu smiled over there. It was this little smile of hers. Fans once broke into chants Angel Angel, Suzu-chan, Angel, Suzu-chan. The crowds are like the sea and the momentum is like a rainbow. Only then did Raku Sakakihara realize that the so-called idol concert was actually so terrifying. Besides, it hasn't started yet. The 5 girls got out of the car and entered the back court along the passage prepared by the security guards. Fans finally stopped a lot after the idol girls disappeared. Tian Haikimingyu said to several people at this time, it's useless to stay here. Let's go in through the work passage. Brother, do you want to meet a Ling in advance? Sakakibara carefully placed the Tenkai Snow behind him on the ground, and at the same time replied to the Tenkai Nanamagetsu directly in front, see her? No need to give special advice, anyway, they are all in the background. If you can meet her, you can meet her. Ken. Several people walked out of the crowd and walked around to the other side of the martial arts hall. There is a staff-only passage here, guarded by 2 security guards outside. After Tian Haikimingyu revealed her identity, the security guard respectfully opened the door and invited a few people to enter. Seeing this scene, Sakakihara became more suspicious. Did you also organize this concert in July? Me? No, it's just Sony's publicity plan. To say that we have any relationship, it's just that we have some people from our family there. Brother, you will know each other sooner or later. I don't want Lejun to take over the family or anything, because then Lejun will have less time, even less. Tianhai Julie Yulai interjected. Sister, you also know that there is nothing you can do about it? After all, my brother is also the next head of the family appointed by Grandpa, and now he is also the half-brother of his most beloved daughter. Does Grandpa know about our relationship with Lejun? Grandpa must know. Can Grandpa acquiesce? Dad helped Tian Haikimingyu replied. Tian Haijuli Yulai still found it a little hard to believe, no matter how much Dad tries to persuade Grandpa, he may not be able to get Grandpa to acquiesce to this matter. Did Sister forget about Yuki? Yuki still needs to be taken care of. Grandpa will not do anything to my brother. It was rare that Tianhai's Higsu didn't get distracted. After listening to all the conversations between several people, what will happen if Le doesn't take care of me? Tianhai Julie Yulai tried to think about it, maybe Kyo, Lejun, and I don't have a good time in Japan, so we have to go abroad. This is the local snake chable. Sakakihara shook his head silently. The thought of inheriting such a large family business in the future really gave him a headache. Brother, if you don't want to take care of the family's affairs, just leave all the power to me in the future. What are the conditions? Sakakihara understood the meaning of Chiyu's words. Tian Haikimingyu raised her snow-white neck confidently, the condition is that you must serve me well every night when I go home. You can do whatever I ask you to do, and you are not allowed to refuse. Chiyu Tianhai Julie Yulai was angry. Don't worry, sister. It's not like I won't have my sister's share when the time comes. Kyo, you have to remember that I am your sister. You can't bully Lejun like that every night. My sister is only 5 minutes older than me. And I am afraid that my sister will bully my brother every day in the future. Why is this? Sister, put your ear closer. The 2 sisters whispered something that no one could hear, and Tianhai Julie Yulai blushed instantly. How could I do that? My sister is very physical. As far as I know, she is also much more sensitive. You are talking nonsense in July. Sakakihara Raku didn't know why the topic changed as he talked. He was just about to go up and interrupt the meaningless quarrel between the two, but unexpectedly another voice suddenly sounded from the other side. I didn't expect that the relationship between you 2 sisters is still so good. It's beyond my expectation. When Sakakihara heard this voice, he frowned subconsciously and turned around to look. Walking along the glass curtain wall happened to be my aunt, Bertha Hikia, whom I had not seen for a long time. Wearing an extremely simple white skirt, she approached slowly. The single-sided crystal pendant in her right ear was as brilliant as before. After Bertha saw a few people, she paid attention to her daughter's faces for a few more seconds, but they no longer looked as domineering as before. Tian Haikimingyu was not very happy to see this woman who was very similar to herself. Mom came here specially today. Is she planning to persuade my sister to return to England? Mrs. Bertha stretched out a smile gracefully. I'm quite happy to hear that Chi can call me Mom. That's not the answer. I'm not very happy to see you. Where's Liulai? Bertha turned her attention to her other daughter's face, her earrings sparkling with silver. What do you think of me now? Amamai subconsciously hid behind Sakakibara Raku, pulling on the corner of his clothes. I don't know. If you hate it, you still want to call me mom for the sake of the past. There must be a way to say it. Seeing that her eldest daughter didn't answer, Bertha turned her attention to Sakakibara Raku and smiled. Sakakibara has become a lot more handsome. I heard that Mode Nori has been training you, Raku, and I am very happy that my two daughters can find happiness in you. Unspeakable feeling. The woman in front of him undoubtedly abandoned Liulai's existence in the past. Even when Liulai faced her now, he still had some psychological shadow. Sakakibara Raku doesn't have a good impression of her now. Instead, he feels a little more bored because of Ruri. Bertha could clearly see the distance between herself and several people. She shook her head and sighed, there's no need to be so hostile to me. I don't deny the results I caused in the past. It's natural for Kyo and Liulai not to recognize me as their mother. I came here just to confirm your current situation and to ask when you will officially come to the UK. Sakakibara Raku, I won't bother you, madam. Xiao Le, Mrs. Bertha smiled. She was very good looking and had the youthful beauty of a star. I don't care about you dating Kyo and Liulai at the same time. Although I am not qualified, after all, everyone's views on love are different. They are all different. I heard that Xiao, when you come to the UK, you will also accompany Liulai to participate in the competition. I am very happy that you can accompany her like this. Sakakibara frowned, because the attitude shown by Bertha now was completely opposite to the way she used to insist on Liulai listening to her. Bertha shook her head again. I don't mind Kyo's choice to stay away from me, because I still have Liulai, and when I lost Liulai's support, I almost lost everything. Although my career is still with me, but after all, when people get old, they will no longer be able to stand on the top stage, and the dream of becoming famous through Liulai will naturally disappear. Tianhaijuli Yulai looked at her mother. What does mother want to say? Hearing that her eldest daughter was willing to talk to her, Bertha smiled happily and said, what I mean is that after I left Japan, it was useless to express my thoughts to you Liulai again and again. This result also made me have some reflection. I was too eager for quick success and quick gain in the past and forgot to take care of you. Thinking about it now, the reason why Liulai was so willing to listen to me was because I would take you, Liulai, and Kyo to the amusement park in the past. This is a relationship forged by love, not just the identity of mother and daughter by blood. Everyone listened quietly. So, Mom now wants to sincerely apologize to Liulai and Kyo. I'm sorry. Mom doesn't mean to ask for your forgiveness. She just hopes that when you come to the UK, you can visit your grandparents. The two of them haven't seen you for a long time. Bertha's words made several people look at each other. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 493. Aunt Bertha left. Kyo and Liulai didn't respond to her or agree to anything she said. For some reason, when she saw her daughters behaving like this, there was still a hint of loneliness under her aunt's smile before she left. Brother, what do you think? In the staff lounge, Tian Haikimingyu was drinking the Mamiya Kakeru coffee ordered for takeaway and asked about the incident just now. Instead of asking me, why not ask Liulai what he thinks? Sakakibara turned his attention to Liulai, who had been silent since just now. I don't really know. Ruri seemed a little depressed, and Sakakibara Raku could understand Ruri. The ups and downs of the relationship between her and her aunt are too obvious, from liking her in the beginning to being obedient in the middle. After her aunt said such outrageous words, she also completely broke with her mother. Until now, the mother she had not seen for more than a year appeared again with an apology. Li Yulai once again faced the mother she loved deeply in the past. Some of the feelings in her heart were really hard to let go. Has Xiaoju's mother ever done anything outrageous? Well, Raku Sakakibara nodded in response to Amaminezuki, it's too much to be forgiven. This is probably why Ruri didn't choose to answer her mother just now. Sister, Tianhai Chi Minjia put down the coffee in her hand and persuaded Tianhai Juli Yulai, who was sitting on the sofa against the wall opposite, Sister, you don't have to care about what your mother said. Maybe she has lost too much before she chooses to come back and apologize. But if you do something wrong, you have done something wrong, and there is no need for my sister to forgive me. But in July, my mother came to see us. She didn't insist on our forgiveness. She just wanted us to visit our grandparents when we went to England. Then what are you worried about, sister? I think, since we are going to see my grandparents, I will inevitably have to meet my mother. How will we handle the relationship between us and our mother in front of our grandparents? There is no need for others to consider our own affairs. The relationship between us and our mother has nothing to do with our grandparents, Tianhai Chi Minjia said bluntly, my sister just can't let go of her mother. In the past, my mother's treatment of her sister there is still too much care. Sister, as I have said before, instead of choosing to avoid feelings, it is better to deal with it head on and explain things clearly at an appropriate time, so that your mood will not be so congested. Tianhai Juli Yulai didn't want to get too entangled in this kind of thing. What happened with my mother is over. Her mother's choice also freed her emotionally, at least now she doesn't have to worry about future problems. Tianhai Kaimingyu sat upright, raised the coffee to her mouth again and took a sip. Anyway, my sister is going to participate in the piano competition. Grandpa and Grandma should also go and visit, so that they can get to know my brother. Tianhai Juli Yulai raised his head and said, Lejun won't be beaten by Grandpa, right? Tianhai Kaimingyu nodded, it's possible. Sakaki Hara Raku, ... Asterisk. I sat in the lounge for about half an hour. The door was suddenly pushed open. A certain girl with short hair who was gorgeously dressed and shiny, shouted brother, rushed in, and threw herself into Sakaki Hara Raku's arms. She almost gave her a heart attack. Brother. Also very clingy. Sakaki Hara pushed her away speechlessly, okay, why are you dressed so beautifully and running into my arms to act like a spoiled brat? What? I took the time to come here to see you, brother. After Sakakibara Suzu stood firm, Sakakibara Raku took a serious look at the current Suzu. With beautiful makeup, a gorgeous idol dress and sparkling gold and silver decorations at the corners of her eyes, Aling's purple eyes were already particularly beautiful, but now that she is dressed up like this, she becomes even more agile. In addition, Sakakibara stretched out his palm to compare Suzu's height. The little girl who used to be so tiny, curled up in her arms and took a nap every day, and loved to steal food, is now an idol that everyone is looking forward to. Hey. What are you doing with that silly smile? I'm very happy. Are you happy to be on stage? Suzu Sakaki Hara looked unhappy, put her hands on her hips, and pouted, brother, I'm very happy that you can come to my concert. She didn't forget the other people in the lounge and laughed, of course. Sister Li Yulai, Sister Kyo, and Yuki can come too. It's good to know. Tianhai Kaimingyu drank coffee slowly. At least bro, you know how to keep your promise. When did I fail to comply? How dare you say that? I went to England before and secretly wanted to leave everyone. Are you really going to run away? Are you planning to come to my concert? I just want you to be independent, so I won't allow you to. Look at Aling, you can have your own career and do so well. You have so many fans who like you, and there are countless people there as soon as you go out. shouting Suzu-chan. Suzu-chan. Angel, what else can I do to help you? Asshole. Ah. Sakakihara Suzu was extremely dissatisfied and punched someone in the chest, but was caught. So you are the bastard. Tian Haikaimingu interjected at this time. Sister Chan means that she was raised by your brother, you gave her so many things, and she finally became what she is now, but you are gone, and she can't help it. I'll repay you. Sakakibara smiled at his sister. Is that so? You guy, you still ask questions knowingly. And it's not like you don't know why I want to be famous. Yes, of course. Sakakihara Raku can hardly remember how many summers ago it was. He only knew that a Ling suddenly came over that day and told him, I want to be famous because I can make a lot of money, so my brother can eat a lot of good food. Then, by accident, I embarked on the path of becoming a voice actor. She insisted on practicing the vocal skills she picked up from the second-hand market over and over again every day. When she went to work for the first time, she complained to herself that no one cared about her at work, and she frequently failed in auditions. If a Ling's career after high school was smooth sailing, then her past could be said to be full of hardships. He and a Ling also had the same goal in the past, which was to make a lot of money. A Ling, come here. What? Come here. Oh. Sakakibara Suzu tried to get closer to Sakakibara Raku, and then he hugged her into his arms. Aling is the type who is not shy when approached proactively, but will blush once someone approaches her. Suddenly he was embraced by his brother, and his breathing became rapid. There are other people in the lounge. What are you doing? Sakakibara smiled and said, it's nothing. I just feel that I am happy to have a Suzu as my sister. Even though she is a bit lazy and has many shortcomings, there is no doubt that she loves me deeply. If I hadn't met as for Liu Likio and the others, Aling, I am afraid you will be able to take care of my brother's feelings for a long, long time. Who said that? Sakakihara Suzu pouted in his arms, her voice a little muffled. Isn't that what you said, Aling? You also said you would never get married or anything like that. But, Aling, I still hope you can have your own happiness, Aling. By saying this, can I think you are trying to drive me away? Of course not, I just hope you can always be happy, Aling. I am very happy right now. Is this still the answer? Well, you have been the one who raised me. Anyway, as long as I leave you, brother, I will be a useless person. I will be listless in everything I do. I don't want to eat, wash my clothes, and don't want to go to work. I have been working so hard these days. Practicing dancing is actually just to let you take a good look at me. Let you see how powerful I have become, how brave I have become because of you, and I am no longer the sister who only cried around you in the past. This is really touching to hear. Aling has been working hard to stand on the stage these days, and it's actually for herself so that she can take a good look at her. When Sakakihara Suzu said this, her voice became much softer. That's why I called you so many times before to come to my concert. If you weren't here, brother, I wouldn't even know what my meaning was. Sakakibara laughed, then Suzu should think more about herself. Brother, do you think more about yourself? It's always been this way or that. I don't care. Anyway, if you are gone, just like I told you before, I will be gone too. Ailing, are you threatening me? I'm just threatening you. To deal with people like you, I have to threaten you like this. Sakakibara was filled with emotion. He felt that what had happened in the past year or so was even richer than what he had experienced in the past 10 years or so. I have made many mistakes along the way. He also once doubted himself. I told Liu Kio, Ling, and Zhigzu about my past mistakes. They wouldn't care at all now. It's past. It's all past. Everyone made mistakes in the past, right? But now, Everyone can find their own place and live well in this family. We eat together every day, study together every day, discuss everything on campus, and play games together every day during the holidays. When we are bored, we can go on a trip together and ride around Tokyo on a motorcycle. There is no pressure or restraint, this is the so-called freedom and happiness. Brother. I'm going to do the final stage rehearsal with the seniors, so don't run away. Sakakihara smiled lightly, why should I run away? I'm afraid you'll run away suddenly. I feel very insecure now. I have your sister Liuli, sister Kyo, and Yuki watching over me. Don't worry. Then come on time. I've reserved a seat in the first row for you. No problem, go ahead. Idol Suzu left the lounge with a lingering look on Raku Sakakibara's face. Her feelings are not unreasonable. When people are about to achieve a goal, they are afraid of this and that, and feel insecure. July. How did you deal with that person? Tianhaichi Minjio knew who he was referring to. I just gave him some money and asked him to stop pestering Aling. If he disobeys, he will be punished accordingly. Isn't this what you mean, brother? I haven't asked about this recently. So, brother, it's true that since you have arranged these results, you should pay more attention to them. July. Say it. Is it really nice to treat your biological father like this? Brother already has his own answer in his heart. Since he didn't treat you as his children in the past, you should also respond with corresponding feelings. This is how I treat my mother. I don't need to consider such trivial things anymore. Brother, why don't you think more about how you can serve me in the future? Sakakihara laughed out loud, that's what you said. Asterisk. At 7:30, a few people sat in the center of the first row of the martial arts hall's auditorium. The Budokan is indeed a Budokan, much wider than other large stages. The auditorium can also accommodate thousands of people. The closer it gets to the opening time, the louder the crowd becomes. In addition, it was dark night, and there were no lights shining on the auditorium. There was only the empty stage with a few spotlights flashing sporadically. The audience is waiting, and so is Sakakihara Raku. A 10-second countdown to 8 o'clock was displayed on the big screen. When the bright number changed from 1 to 0, the whole place dimmed, and a second later, the CG on the big screen began to play. Starships, space, the Earth. Countless starfires falling to the ground, civilians in pain, and the protagonist Arya looking up to the sky with a tough expression. The pictures flashed back and forth on the screen. Raku Sakakihara knew that this was the background of the TV series Celestial that Suzu and the others were dubbing. The scene ended with Arya, a red-haired woman, kneeling on the splints of a starship with her armor broken. She faced endless fragments of the mecha floating in the starry sky. Upon seeing the extremely touching and nostalgic scenes in the drama, the audience and fans cheered like crazy. Just like the exciting plot in the corresponding drama, they shouted in unison, "Stand up! Stand up!" Perhaps Arya heard everyone's call, and when facing the endless enemy forces in the Star Sea, she controlled the mecha and stood up again. She had a determined expression and a stern expression. At this moment, the scene suddenly changed, and all the extremely shining spotlights on the stage were focused on Sakakibara Suzu, who suddenly appeared in the center of the stage, holding the microphone in his hand and raising his right hand high. She faced thousands of spectators at the venue, her eyes closed and her face solemn. Her figure overlapped with Arya on the big screen behind her, and it was extremely dazzling. "Ling is so handsome," Tianhai's Higsu subconsciously said beside her with a cheering stick in both hands. In fact, she was not the only one who felt this way, countless viewers at the scene also felt this way. They swung the colorful cheering sticks in their hands regularly, cheered, and shouted the girl's name in unison, "Ring! Bell! Bell!" The sound wave after wave. Illusion and reality are connected, Just as people's feelings for animated characters have found a home and support, everyone is cheering for the arrival of Suzu Sakakihara. Bang bang bang, the lights flickered again, and the four other people who appeared next to Sakakibara Suzu were Kiyomiya Niseken Harumi, Maruyama Kuka, and Sakai Chitano. Stellar Voice officially assembled and appeared, and the atmosphere in the concert was instantly pushed to the top by cheers. Colorful aurora flashed under the feet of several people. Countless fans were covered in sweat as if they had just taken a sauna, their faces were red, and they were waving excitedly, cheering that the thing they loved had come to reality. Who could not be encouraged by this? As the heroine Arya stood up among the ruins in the background, the spine-tingling background music began to flow, and the first song of the concert was displayed on the screen, which happened to be Celestial. The first op is also the most popular and requested song among fans, The Broken Battlefield. Sakakibara Raku saw with his own eyes that, under the focus of eyes and lights, Sakakibara Suzu held the microphone and sang affectionately. If you see that the sky is no longer changing, if you hear my trembling voice, your body seems to be broken at any time. At this time, there is almost no way to think about anything. The music flows out of the audience almost naturally. The singing seems to come from the distant sky and pass through it. The consciousness is torn and shattered, and the rhythm begins to surge under the feet and rise from the ground. Wave. Unknowingly, the songs naturally flowed from the fans' mouths and turned into harmonies, echoing Sakakibara Suzu on the stage. This was not the first time for Sakakihara Raku to hear a Suzu singing, but he was also shocked by the effect of the scene, and his body trembled. Music is meant to stimulate and excite. Familiar tunes go straight through the body, stirring up the consciousness into chaos. There is no need to think about anything at all, you just need to go with the flow, follow the clear singing voice of Sakakihara Suzu, and break the despair of the deep space with the heroine in the drama. The physical perception was shaken to pieces by the live music, and the remaining few pitiful thoughts drifted into the air along with the extremely emotional music. Even Sakakibara Raku himself didn't know when he saw only his sister illuminated by the lights. So shiny, so moving, so beautiful. The emotions and moods of countless people were following the hem of her princess-style skirt, swaying upward. The heart-pounding song ends. Sakakihara Raku finally came back to his senses. Ling's singing skills are actually even better now than when she first formed the band, and her voice and emotion are both brilliant. No wonder it stirred up the atmosphere of the scene so much. The end of the first song is the official start of the concert. Suzu Sakakihara's heavy expression at the beginning immediately turned into a smile. That cute smile immediately aroused a wave of cheers from fans. She began to introduce herself, and so did her teammates. She welcomed everyone to come to their Stellar Voice concert and thanked everyone for their enthusiastic support just now. Sakakihara Raku just didn't expect that Suzu would suddenly talk about herself at this time. Talk about her growth experience with everyone, as well as the difficulties she personally faces in the workplace. She also struck an emotional chord with many fans when she talked about being gossiped about in the past. A relaxed story with an appropriate nonchalant smile. When talking about her past experience of being abandoned as a child, Suzu Sakakihara not only had a calm narrative, but also had expectations for a better future. This made the fans not dissatisfied at all, but instead felt sympathy and love for Ling's past. The story is not long, but some of the stories are really fake, which made Raku Sakakihara laugh. At first glance, it seems that the show crew added fuel to the atmosphere to enhance the atmosphere. Suzu Sakakihara was perfect on stage. After telling the story of her childhood and thanking everyone for their support, Suzu Sakakihara suddenly looked above the stage, to the first row of the audience. Of course, if I want to say who I am most grateful to in my life, there will always be only one person who believes in what I just said. Well, you now know who it is. It's brother-in-law, brother-in-law. Suddenly an audience shouted so loudly off the stage, which made Raku Sakakihara laugh. At the same time, Suzu Sakakihara also laughed on the stage, and the audience in front of the stage also laughed. Okay, it seems that everyone knows who it is, so I won't take up your time. Let's continue to enjoy the September night and welcome everyone to the stellar Vwijk stage. The next song, Star Flight Between Spaces. The audience started cheering. The music sounded again, different from the heavy one just now. This song seems very cute. Raku Sakakihara watched his sister singing and dancing on the stage, her hair soaked with sweat. While she was sweating, she also saw the true happiness in her smile. Maybe this guy will really become a senior in the voice acting world in the future. It's really funny to think about a senior who can't even wash his own clothes. Sunny, shining and passionate. Sure enough, this is what Aling should look like. Sakakibara Raku communicated with Tenkai Nanamayu, Tenkai Kuruori, and Tenkai Nazuki, watching Suzu's outstanding performances on the stage again and again. This girl has obviously become an idol girl, and she still throws cute winks in her direction from time to time. Fans thought she was abandoning everyone, and there was a frenzy that was really helpless. However, it is indeed cute. When you go home, you must let Aling do more to you. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 494. October is also the month of the year when the weather officially turns cooler. As autumn arrives, there are fewer wandering clouds, and the ginkgo trees on the slope outside the school gate also begin to turn yellow and begin to fall. Autumn is always a sad season for lonely people. Dusk, fallen leaves, a lonely wandering forest path. In his previous life, Sakakibara enjoyed walking alone in autumn, witnessing the falling leaves, and watching the leaves that were still vibrant in summer disappear. I also fell in love with fishing because of this habit, until I died by the river without doing anything. Raku Sakakihara has no special feelings about death. It was more after he was reborn that he realized that no one was specifically mourning him, which touched his heart and completely gave up on his previous life. He often wonders whether the world looks at a person's life the same way people look at fallen leaves, a short moment. Fleeting. Birthday gift? Lejun really doesn't have to worry about this. Huh? Li Yulai doesn't want to either. Upon hearing this, Tianhaijuli Yulai's expression suddenly hesitated. Wearing her school uniform, she walked with Sakakihara Raku on the ginkgo slope at the gate of the campus, facing the beautiful dusk shining on the skyline. The wind blew her flaxen hair behind her head, and the hesitation on her face disappeared, and she replied seriously. Do not want. You really don't want it? If you don't want to, just don't want to. Lejun, please stop asking. Sakakihara laughed immediately. How could he not know Li Yulai's true thoughts? He took his hand out of his trouser pocket and reached over to hold Li Yulai. Li, you don't have to worry about whether I worry about what gifts to give you. Isn't this what I should do? There is no saying that Lejun should give gifts. Tianhaijuli Yulai held his palm back and intertwined their fingers. It's my girlfriend's birthday. How can I not care if others don't care? It's really not necessary, just live a normal life as usual. We go to school together every day, eat lunch together on the rooftop at noon, study together in the afternoon, go home together after school, have dinner together when we get home, and play games together all day. Isn't it just a happy ending like this? As for the birthday, Lejun really doesn't need to care too much about it. In the past, Chikio and I didn't take that day seriously, and it's the same now. Perhaps because he was worried that his words were not convincing, Amamai Kuruori nodded to himself as he spoke beside Sakakibara Raku. Well, I don't care at all. If Lejun insists on asking me why, I can only answer that Lejun is already my best gift. Cute. Li Yuli's answer was so innocent and cute that it made people laugh. Tian Haijue Li Yuli became dissatisfied. Why are you laughing at Lejun? Xiao Ruri is hiding her true thoughts. Raku Sakakibara held his skull bag and turned his head to look at the lily of the valley bracelet on the wrist of the girl in school uniform. The bracelet Ruri you received last year is still on you. What does this mean? Tian Haijue Li Yuli asked. This shows that Li Yuli is still looking forward to receiving a gift in her heart. It is precisely because it was given by Lejun that she really wants to have it. Tian Haijue Li Yuli's voice suddenly became quieter as if someone had seen through her heart, and her other hand subconsciously touched the lily of the valley bracelet. This one is different. What difference can it make? For me, this is the first gift Lejun gave me, and it is also a proof of your forgiveness. It is particularly symbolic and cannot be replaced by anything else. Sakakibara stopped and faced her, but Ruri will still want to give her a gift, right? Tian Haijue Li Yuli faced his gaze, and after hesitating again and again, he admitted, yes. Yes, I do. I just don't want Lejun to be so embarrassed. If he is always embarrassed because of us, I will feel that the gift is a meaningless thing. Fool. Ah. I said Li Yuli is an idiot. Lejun is the big fool. Stop, I don't want to argue with Li Yuli about who is the idiot, but based on Li Yuli's answer so far, Li Yuli is the idiot. Tian Haijue Li Yuli pouted, why do you say you are stupid? Send Li Yuli a gift. If Li Yuli is happy, I will be happy too. I just want Li Yuli to know that I still like you very much. No, the word love should be used now. I love you Li Yuli. Important words fell out of his mouth inadvertently. Even though she had heard him say this several times, the girl still felt uncontrollably happy in her heart. Even if you love me, you don't need to be too embarrassed about gifts. Just give me some trinkets, Tian Haijue Li Yuli emphasized. I just don't want to embarrass Lejun or anything. Every time I see Lejun distressed, it will also make you feel uncomfortable. Didn't Lejun get scratched by a tree branch while running not long ago? Seeing the bloody wound made me feel very distressed. Sakakibara laughed, Ruri is so cute. Tian Haijue Li Yuli held a handbag dangling in front of her skirt with both hands. She pouted and looked at him angrily, can I understand that Chen Lejun is playing tricks on me? Can this be called hooliganism between boyfriend and girlfriend? Li Yuli come here. Tian Haijue Li Yuli smiled and turned aside, dodging, haha, no, I don't want it. Every time I'm hugged by Lejun, my waist will be touched. I'll tell Kia when I get back, and Lejun will act like a hooligan. Actually, your Lejun did even more extreme things to Kia. I don't want to know. Playing all the way, strolling under the sunset, and walking out of the ginkgo slope. Walking to the market, he happened to see a yatai selling odon on the roadside. Taking advantage of the situation, Sakakibara took Ruri and bought 2 odon on the roadside. There were vehicles passing by and the crowd structure was complex. It was very noisy, including high school students having fun after school, housewives taking their children home, and old ladies going shopping. Ruri Sakakibara Raku peeked into the bowl of Tenkaiku Ruri. What's wrong? How about I trade my lucky bag with you for a bamboo wheel? Look, my lucky bag is bigger than your lucky bag. It's worth it? Tian Haijue really frowned, a lucky bag is 200 yen, and a bamboo wheel is only 100 yen. No matter how you think about it, I am losing money. Lejun, don't think I'm a fool. Isn't Li Yuli just an idiot? Lejun, you are the idiot. If Lejun is willing to come over and kiss me, then I will, Lejun. Do you still want to kiss me? Wait for me. Ruri. My chikilwa. Why are you eating it for me? No, Ruri-chan has gone too far. I want to take it back. Tian Haijue Li saw that he was trying to snatch her food, so she also stuffed the lucky bag into her mouth. That pretty face puckered up. Then I'll take it back from your mouth. Tianhaijuli Yulai finally swallowed the two things and shook his head to avoid him. Lejun. Lejun, don't kiss me. There are many people watching on the roadside. It doesn't matter. If Li Yulai doesn't let me eat, then I'll eat what's in your mouth. Lejun. Playing a gangster. Li Yulai finally found out. In fact, I am a gangster. In fact, not only passers-by, but also the boss of the Odin cellar saw the two young lovers having a fight in his stall. Seeing that Raku Sakakibara insisted on taking the opportunity to kiss that beautiful girl, he couldn't stand it anymore, so he ordered half a bowl of Odin and brought it to the table of the two of them, so that the two of them would not quarrel over their Odin. Come on. At the same time, I couldn't help but sigh in my heart, the relationship is so good. After eating Odin, we took the train home. There was only one empty seat when they got on the bus, so they both stood by the bus. Watching the Tokyo street scene outside the train fading away under the setting sun, watching the setting sun on the horizon, dyeing the clouds golden and red. Sakakibara pulled the sling, and at some point, Amamai Kuruori leaned her head on his shoulder. Facing the fiery sunset together. Lejun. Does this count as a date? Why do Ruri always think about dating? Sakakibara turned his head and glanced at the girl with her eyes closed on her shoulder. Because we didn't play together for too long last time we dated alone, I really want Lejun to be with me all the time. Watch the sunrise together, watch the sunset together, go to school together, and get out of school together. Finally, growing old together again, the thought of Lejun when you are old, June will still be by my side, telling me jokes and making me happy, so I won't be afraid of anything. It's very beautiful, but why do you feel so emotional all of a sudden? Tianhaijuli Yulai put her hands into his warm pockets, hugged his hands, and leaned on his shoulders. I want Lejun to spend more time with me. Aren't I just staying with you now? You see, today I specially waited for you to finish your work at school before I go home with you. In July, I asked her and Yuki to go home first. Not enough, totally not enough. Then come here and let me hug you more. It's on the tram. The tram is more suitable. I wonder if Li Yulai has seen Wolf on the tram. I don't know, I don't know. Lu Li has definitely seen it. Tianhaijuli Yulai hugged his arm tighter. Lejun knows how to act like a hooligan. He told you that many people are watching. How about I hug you again tonight, Lejun? At night? At night, it won't just be a hug. You want to do bad things again, right? But you can't do it while sleeping. If you get it on the bed, it won't be easy to wash. I can help you when taking a shower. Luli is so nice. After a bit of fussing, Tianhaijuli Yulai suddenly started talking about July. Lejun. Here I am. Lejun, don't you think Chi-Chi has been a little disappointed recently? A little disappointed, Sakakibara looked away from the overpass under the sunset and looked sideways at her. What Li Yulai said should be about her pregnancy in July. Well, Tianhaijuli Yulai still hugged his arm. Her voice became slower. I always feel that Chi-Chi was in a bad mood after knowing that she was not pregnant. Lejun. Sakakibara was silent for a moment, and then continued, it's probably because she took emergency contraceptive pills at that time. But that's okay. It's still too early to get pregnant at the age of July, and my uncle and my mother were particularly uncomfortable. Agree with that. Tianhaijuli Yulai, Lejun, Kyo likes children very much. It's like having a child but aborting it. Sakaki Hararaku also knows that Kyo likes children. She is a withdrawn person herself. If one day she has her own child, she will definitely educate him well and love him very much. I will never treat my children like my aunt and ignore them. The fact that she was not pregnant still gave July a sense of disappointment in her expectations. I still want to confess something to Lejun. I hope Lejun won't be angry when he hears it. Tianhai Yulai leaned against his shoulder and looked up at him. Angry? How could I be angry? Tianhai Yulai lowered his eyebrows. When I heard that Chi-Chi was likely to be pregnant, I was actually a little reluctant. Sakaki Haro looked at Li Yulai in confusion. Why is this? Because, Lejun, you see, when there was a possibility of pregnancy in July, Lejun took even more care of her. If she got pregnant, he would take even more care of her and she would have a baby in advance. Before, Lejun promised me my status as a wife is gone. Sakaki Baro laughed. Tianhai Yulai hit him on the shoulder. Why are you laughing at Lejun? Of course Xiao Li Yulai is too cute. Cute. Li Yulai is so cute. Even now, she still cares about whether she is the eldest wife or not. Is this identity so important? Of course it's important. When the time comes, I can talk to Kyo more about my identity, and Lejun can also love me a little more. Not too much. A little favoritism will be fine. Then I will repay Lejun. Give birth to many, many children for Lejun, and then our family will travel happily, eating and drinking everywhere. Playing video games everywhere. Having a child is not a reward. On the contrary, it will make me feel that I have hurt you, Li Yulai. How could this happen? Pregnancy is very hard, and giving birth is also very painful. I don't want to see Li Yulai with the same expression as before. Sakaki Baro smiled again. Although the two sisters have now accepted each other's identities, there is no doubt that there will still be some jealousy between them. The tram clanging, and the carriage swayed gently. Under the setting sun, whether it is dusk, or the girl hugging you and resting your head on your shoulder, it is always warm. So, what does Li Yulai want to explain to me by saying so much? That's it? That's it? Huh? Why have you become so shy all of a sudden? Because it's hard to talk about. If there is anything unspeakable about this, just say it if you want to. It's hard to say. After Emma Kuruori answered in a low voice, she looked left and right and found that no one was paying attention to the two of them. She lowered her mouth to Sakaki Bararaku's ear and whispered. That's right. If Lejun wants to have a child in the future, it would be best if Kyo and I can be together. Sakaki Haro was stunned for 3 seconds, looking at the beautiful and blurred face of Amamai Kuruori next to her in surprise. After she finished speaking, she immediately retracted her head and shyly lifted her flaxen hair. Immediately afterwards, Sakaki Hararaku reacted and blurted out a rhetorical question. Let you and she become pregnant together. After Tianhai Yulai heard this, he was stunned for a few seconds before reacting. Hate. This is what Li Yulai said himself. Even if it's me who said it? Then Lejun can't say it directly. This is on the tram. These words are enough to make people embarrassed. Sakaki Hara didn't mean to make a joke, he was just so surprised that he blurted it out subconsciously. The essence of Li Yulai's words was that she wanted to treat them both fairly. If they get pregnant together, it is indeed relatively fair. Speaking of which, will it be tiring for Lejun to take care of two people at the same time? Tired? This is my happiness. Really? No, Li Yulai is so beautiful, and so gentle to people. She can occasionally play games with me, and is willing to wear cos clothes. For most people in the world, she is not the most ideal candidate. And I have found someone like Li Yulai, so I am happy to be able to take care of you. Snort. What? Lejun said this, then I will forgive Lejun for playing a gangster this afternoon. After we finish cooking together today, I will give him a special reward. What is it? Knee pillow. Plus a back thump. And a special massage in the shower. Luli, that's great. It makes me want to give you a big birthday gift. Lejun, I told you not to bother yourself so much. Why don't you just hold me and sleep well at night? I know, but a birthday gift is still a must. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 495. After agreeing to Li Yulai, there can be no further delay in giving gifts to the twins. But then again, what kind of birthday gifts to give to Gemini is innovative, and the problem is also very distressing. What birthday gifts should I give to Sister Li Yulai and Sister Kyo this year? After the physical education class ended the next afternoon, under the clear blue sky, Raku Sakakibara specially found Suzu, who was resting next to the basketball court, to discuss the matter. Sakakihara Suzu held the bribe from her brother, black tea in her hand, and tried to think about it. I remember, brother, you came to me to discuss this kind of thing last year. Why did you come to me again? Well, as for what exactly you want to give, I don't know. And brother, why are you so weird? We have known each other for so long, why do you still ask me what gifts to give to Sister Li Yulai and Sister Kyo? So it's a discussion. Discussion, isn't this why I came to Aling to learn from him? Sakakibara Suzu pouted, brother, come to me whenever you encounter emotional troubles. I've almost become your strategy material library. Doesn't this just reflect your importance, Aling? Stop. I don't like to hear this. Sakakihara Raku continued, I would like to give them something they like, but will this be too repetitive from last year? I don't think it's a big deal if you repeat it. Hey. Brother, what's that look in your eyes? I'm helping you come up with ideas. Sakakihara looked with disdain, I don't know who always disliked me for giving you a rabbit as a birthday gift every year. That's what I am. Sakakihara Suzu was pierced in her heart and became anxious. She twirled her fingers and hesitated for a long time before she could figure out how to answer, I was just saying that I was disgusted, okay. I kept all the gifts you gave me. If you suddenly don't give me the same gift this year, I will feel strange. So Ailing also wants a rabbit for her birthday this year. Pass. Sakakihara Suzu held a cup of black tea and decisively made a big X on her chest with both hands. Absolutely not. Look, Ailing, you want a new gift, so I have to come up with something new. That's right, how about, brother, you take your two sisters to the hot spring hotel. Sakakibara drooped his eyelids, is this my birthday or their birthday? No, bad idea, let's celebrate it. Oh, Sakakihara Suzu smiled and touched someone with her elbow, and teased, I think it's good. Anyway, brother, you can't make both Li Yulai sister and Kyo sister very happy by then. I was wrong, I should not have joked about this. After Sakakihara Suzu was frightened, she muttered in an aggrieved voice. My suggestion is very good, because for them, brother, aren't you the best gift? Anyway, you have so much fun every night, wouldn't it be fun to go to the hot springs together for your birthday party? Etc. What? Ailing, what you said just now. Going to a hot spring hotel for a birthday party? Brother, have you figured it out? No, it's about the gift. Brother, are you the best gift for Sister Li Yulai and Sister Kyo? Sakakihara coughed twice, let me be clear in advance, I don't think so, but Li Yulai did say such things to me. After hearing these words, I had an idea. What idea? Ailing, just call Yuki to help me when the time comes. What? Brother, tell me. I won't know what it is until you tell me. Don't worry. Asterisk. So, 2 days later, it was Saturday afternoon. October 10th also happens to be the weekend. Throughout the whole day on Saturday, Sakakibara Suzu accompanied Sakakibara Raku out to buy materials. On the way, she also learned her brother's true thoughts, give yourself away as a gift. What did I think it was? It's so old-fashioned. In the grocery store, Raku Sakakihara glanced at his sister who was wearing a mask and sunglasses next to him. What do you know, girl? It's been thousands of years since I gave you dolls and flowers. People still give them to me now. What's this called? It's called feelings that don't have to be afraid of methods. Sakakihara Suzu kept nodding. Yes, yes, everything I said is right. Okay. Tomorrow, help Yuki come up with an excuse to send Kyo and Liuli out first, and then Aling, you can help me arrange the birthday scene and gift boxes at home. I bought a pump for the balloons, so you can blow them up if you don't need them. So considerate. The two of them had just come out of the shopping store. Suzu Sakakibara, who was wearing a cat mask and sunglasses, held a bag of balloons in her hand and shook it in the air. So, brother, you just want to put it in the gift box in advance, and then give them a surprise when Sister Kyo and Sister Liuli come home together. That's what I mean. Sakakibara Suzu put the balloon back into her pocket, thinking of the materials for the birthday party that her brother had spent all morning preparing, and commented with her fingers. Although it's a bit tacky to give it to myself, I'm very considerate. Fireworks, cakes, small gifts, all the materials used in the birthday party. I have never had such a big birthday party. Doesn't it count the fact that you were at Tianhai's house last year? That doesn't count. Why doesn't this count? Sakakibara Suzu squinted her eyes and looked at Sakakibara Raku for a while. Brother, what do you think? The next morning, it's the weekend. When the two sisters were sent out by Yuki to go shopping in the name of buying new game discs for them, Sakakihara Raku and Sakakihara Suzu hurriedly started to decorate the birthday scene. Ling, inflate all the balloons. Okay. Banners. Flowers. Okay. Cake candles, and fruit plate. Okay. Okay. After finishing their work indoors, Sakakihara Raku and Sakakihara Suzu went downstairs to carry the oversized gift box delivered by the courier into the house. He glanced around the living room, which was surrounded by flowers and balloons, and saw the colorful balloons hanging in the sky with the slogan Happy Birthday to Liuli and July 17th. Sakakibara smiled happily. There is also a 5-layer cake placed on the coffee table in the middle of the living room. The customization of this cake alone cost nearly 200,000 yen, and it has a big shark on it. When entering the living room, it was still carried in by 4 employees. Sakakihara Suzu stood with her brother, standing on tiptoes to look at the layout of the living room in front of her. Not only were there banners, balloons, flowers, and cakes, but I also bought a lot of cute little dolls, especially little sharks, to decorate the atmosphere. There are 16 salutes hidden next to the TV and sofa. When the two sisters enter the house, they will explode with a bang. Seeing this gorgeous scene, Sakakihara Suzu couldn't help but complain. Brother, you are too attentive. Careful. This is what you should do. They plan to follow me from now on, 2 of them. Ling, you are also a girl, you understand what this means to girls. I still have too much for them. I have not expressed my gratitude, and there are too many mistakes that have not been made up for. These are all remedies for my past. I told you that the past was not entirely your fault, brother. But I still caused harm to them, didn't I? They don't intend to care about the past anymore, but I can't forget it. I want to be as nice to them as possible. Sakakibara closed his eyes. Ling, in fact, it's not that many people don't care about their birthdays, it's that no one cares about their birthdays at all, and no one is willing to prepare so much for them. As time goes by, things like birthdays also change in their hearts. It's insignificant. But is this day really unimportant? I don't think so. If someone can cook for me on my birthday, think about me, and do everything for me, then I will definitely look forward to it and like it. The day I was born. I did this to let Liulikio know that I care about them very much, and I want to be the person who cares about them the most. I also thank them for being born into this world 17 years ago today. On this day, worth remembering. Sakakihara Suzu was silent, not because she couldn't answer the question. But she felt the emotion in her brother's words. The elder brother has been blaming himself for his past mistakes, and the elder brother also feels guilty and uneasy for hurting two people in the past. Of course, Sakakibara Raku's smile pulled Sakakibara Suzu's thoughts back from the past. It's the same for your birthday, Suzu. I will also prepare in this way. After all, your birth, Suzu, is also very important. Made me feel for the first time what family affection is and the feeling of being needed. After hearing this, Sakakibara Suzu pouted, really, who wants you to go to such trouble? Just cook me a dinner and give me a rabbit doll. Of course, you can't forget Yuki's birthday. Sakakihara smiled, of course. Asterisk. The small talk is over and the scene is set. The last part of the birthday party decoration was left, hiding in the oversized gift box and waiting for the two sisters to come home. Raku Sakakibara held a salute gun and took the initiative to enter. Just when he was about to squat down, he was suddenly stopped by Raku Sakakibara. How? Really, bro, don't you think this is boring? Sakakibara looked at the empty gift box under him. How about putting some gifts in there? Wrong. Big mistake. Isn't that what you said, brother? You are a gift. What's wrong with the gift? Sakakibara couldn't understand what his sister meant. Stupid. For gifts, of course you need to put on a little makeup. Gifts that are not carefully dressed up have no sincerity at all. It would be better to dress up a little. Raku Sakakihara looked at the smiling sister and asked tentatively, then, Suzu, can you help me? Can you put on male makeup? Do you want to rent another one? Doll clothes or something? Sakakibara Suzu vowed and patted her flat chest, put it on me. Hee, as for the doll clothes, I don't need them. I have better choices. There's an ominous premonition. Asterisk. 5 minutes later, Sakakihara Suzu's room. What? SHH. Brother, please keep your voice down. Don't disturb the neighbors downstairs. And brother, just put it on and try it, just try it. Anyway, you have become Sister Kyo, right? It's not like you are not wearing any clothes. Something like that. Not wearing it? Oh, just put it on, just put it on, it's just a magical girl cosplay costume. Just? Aling, where did you get such pink and tender clothes? Didn't I dub a TV series a long time ago? This is what I wore during offline activities. I thought it was a bit too big for me. No, look, the magic wand is still here. Raku Sakakihara looked at the pink and tender skirt held in his sister's hand and fell into doubt. He stared at the smiling face of his sister holding up the skirt. You, let me, a grown man, cosplay into a magical girl. What? Who said magical girls can't be men? Men who can transform into magical girls are super handsome, okay. And super handsome. I think it's just for your fun, Aling, right? Sakakibara Suzu blinked at him, brother, don't you believe it? Then let's imagine what an ordinary Sakakibara Raku would look like if he stayed in a gift box and waited until the two sisters came home to open the box. Surprised, Sakakihara tried to imagine. Wrong, Sakakibara Suzu sternly retorted, it's super boring. I can even imagine your embarrassment at that time. Oh, for a moment, Sakakibara Raku was just ordinary, and then she came out and said something old-fashioned. No matter how old-fashioned happy birthday is, then Sister Chiu looks at you expressionlessly, and Sister Liulai looks at you very embarrassed. Is there any surprise like this? Obviously, no. Not at all. It seems, Makes sense. Sakaki Suzu continued, but if what comes out of the gift box is a super beautiful and super cute magical girl brother, then... He, I guarantee that Sister Liuli will laugh heartily, even sister you can't help but laugh. Brother, just tell me if that's true. Sakakibara was speechless. There is nothing wrong with what Aling said. An ordinary original Sakakibara Raku, and an unusual Sakakibara Raku who cosplayed into a magical girl. There is no doubt which one is more dramatic and surprising. Sakakibara Suzu approached her brother with a pink skirt, bumped his waist with her elbow, and said with a smile, "Brother, you must have figured it out. It won't matter if you wear a skirt, only a few of us will see it anyway. I won't go out and talk nonsense." Brother, you want to give your two sisters a surprise. Isn't this the best surprise? It must be a shock. But one thing Aling was right about was that Kyo and Liuli would definitely laugh because of these funny costumes, but she was a little embarrassed. Smile. Fortunately for Liuli, she had rarely smiled since she found out she was not pregnant in Kyo. I often tease her, but the response is mediocre. Maybe, I can really make her happy with this. It's just a dress. Apart from the shame, there's no big problem. After understanding how much she loves herself in Chiu, it is true that she wants to be good to her and make her happy. In this case, Sakakibara Suzu brought her face closer again, holding the magical girl's skirt and smiling in front of him. Brother, have you thought about it? Brother? You guys, I'm afraid you just want to wear it for me, right? Uh-huh. I won't tell you, I have imagined that you are my sister, bro. I can put makeup on you and dress up and so on. It's so cute. Old brother? Nothing can be done. Fine. Sakakibara Suzu became excited. Really? Agree. Sakakibara Raku was extremely serious. Only this time is a special case. Okay. Of course, it's no problem. That's great. Brother. Come on, come here, sit in front of my makeup mirror, and I'll put on your makeup. Wait. What is this? Prosthetic breasts, wear them on the chest, the ones I used before. No, this is definitely not possible. Oh well. Hey. What are you doing with another gift ribbon? Gift, brother, you are giving it to Sister Liuli and Sister Kyo. Doesn't the gift have to be tied with a red ribbon? Brother, you can't refuse. If you refuse, I won't help you. How do you want to tie it up? To tell you the truth, brother, I have just learned a binding method. Bao Yu, no. Sister Bao Liuli and Sister Kyo are satisfied? Brother, just sit back and relax. Don't worry. Just don't wear your socks. Brother, why are you talking so much? Sit peacefully. I am the older sister now. Be obedient. You bastard girl, I'll deal with you later. Sakakibara silently wrote down this account. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 496. General. Sakakibara Suzu smiled and raised the mirror, showing Sakakibara Raku's current appearance before his eyes. Compared to his sister's happiness, after seeing his own image in the mirror, Sakakibara Raku really couldn't bear it and wanted to punch this bastard girl in the head. He endured becoming a magical girl. He endured letting Aling put on makeup. He still tolerated wearing socks. Suzu, magical girl Sakakibara Raku with a red ribbon bow on her head had a gloomy face and was obviously furious. I agree with you to tie me up, but I don't let you tie me up to be your doll. Is it? Sakakihara Suzu smiled and reached out to flick the ribbon above his head. Kill you. Hey, he's such a cute brother. I will definitely kill you. I didn't mean it either. You tied a knot in my hand and you actually said you didn't mean it. It's true. You know I'm clumsy. After the birthday party, I will definitely give this girl a look. I'll open my butt for you. To be honest, I look really pretty dressed up like this. Sakakibara Suzu touched his chin and looked at him, looked around Sakakibara Raku's body, and even reached behind him to lift the tail of his skirt. Definitely open flowers. Use a hanger. Brother, you are so beautiful. You look like my sister. Have you ever seen a sister who is more than 20 centimeters taller than you? It's better this way, there's a contrast. After checking it out, Sakakibara Suzu looked at the gloomy-looking Sakakihara Raku with a smile. At least it seems that your present outfit is fully qualified, brother. Congratulations. Congratulations, what kind of congratulations is this? Sakakibara wanted to sigh. He had never worn such shameful clothes as a magical girl in his life. Forget it, why did you add a tortoise shell binding to the magical girl? Even though he was tied up, he actually tied a bow on his head. Are you afraid that I won't make a fool of myself enough? Absolutely not, Sakakihara Suzu declared immediately. Reason, Sakakihara asked immediately. Because it will definitely make the two sisters happy later. Sakakibara Raku just wanted to kill this bastard girl. Okay, brother, please stop being so arrogant. Go inside the gift box and stay for a while. Yuki will go home with the two sisters soon. If you delay any longer, it will be too late. It took a lot of effort for me to do it. Bring this gift box up. We moved together. Don't take all the credit on you. Okay, brother, come in quickly, come in quickly. Do you still want to give your two sisters a birthday surprise? Asterisk. About an hour passed. Sakakibara, who was huddled in the dark gift box, thought a lot during the long wait. He couldn't figure out why he agreed to a Suzu's bad idea. Why should you agree to tie a ribbon for yourself? She turned into a magical girl, tied up with a ribbon, and could only be trapped in a gift box. There was little oxygen and no sunlight in the box, and it was particularly uncomfortable for his body to be locked in a gift box. The key is, when Kyo and Liuli see themselves in this state later, are they afraid they will laugh themselves to death? How will I face them both then? Well. Waited for more than 10 minutes. There was finally movement outside. Raku Sakakihara pricked up his ears and listened. It seemed that Kyo and Ruriyuki were returning home after shopping, and Suzu was leading the way at the entrance. The voices of several people communicating became closer and closer, and became clearer and clearer. Lejun gave me and Kyo a gift. Is it so big? Yes, yes, yes. Brother is really considerate of this gift. Sister Liuli doesn't even know how much he cares about your birthday. He thinks that he always gives you the same gifts, such as dolls, small jewelry, etc. There is nothing new. I have been thinking about it for more than 10 days to prepare the super shiny surprise for you. Sister Liuli, do you think this living room is beautifully decorated? Not only does it look good, Lejun spent a lot of time preparing these, right? Yesterday, he spent the whole day purchasing these things. He blew half of the balloons with his mouth, and his cheeks hurt from blowing them. There is also the 5-layer cake in the middle of the living room. Sister Kyo, brother, he went out of his way to, according to Sister Kyo's preference, let the cake chef put a big shark on it. This guy a ling. I don't spare any effort in bragging about myself. Be prepared to trouble Lejun so much. You want it, brother, he cares about this matter. He also said that no one has celebrated your birthday before, and he will prepare your birthdays carefully in the future. Did your brother really say that? Yeah. That's true. Hear the conversation outside the box. Sakakihara smiled and decided. After going out, the task of spreading Aling's buttocks is not left to the hanger, but to the slap. However, Liulai and Kyo seemed to be very touched when they heard what she said. What Aling said was right. Chi-Chi and Liulai have never held a birthday party before. They said last year that the only person who can actually take care of their birthdays is themselves. It is precisely because of this that they now have full emotions when they see the birthday venue. Amidst the chaotic exchanges, the gift box was opened. Bang bang bang. Fireworks exploded. Then, two identical heads poked their heads into the gift box along the edge. After the two sisters saw the so-called gift in the gift box, they were stunned for a few seconds. In the magical girl state, Sakakibara Raku had to resist the thought of killing Sakakibara Suzu. He stood up with the fluttering red bow on his head and smiled forcefully at the two girls who were looking over him. Luli, born in July, happy birthday. A long silence. The two sisters were obviously surprised that the big gift that Aling had been bragging to them about just now was actually this. Because it was an impromptu idea, Yuki also watched dumbfounded. Tianhaijuli Yulai was the first to react. Ellie, Lejun. It's me. What's wrong with Lejun's outfit? Why are you tied up? Luli, just laugh if you want. The bow on the top of your head is very cute. Did my sister wear it? You can laugh if you want to in Chi-Chi. For a man who is over 1.8 meters tall and a majestic 7-foot tall man, he actually wore a magical girl's skirt and was tied up with a ribbon by his sister in such a shameful manner. As soon as Raku Sakakibara thought of the culprit, he glared angrily at Suzu Sakakibara, who was obviously snickering behind the two of them. Tianhai Kaimingyu looked up and down with great interest. I can't imagine that my brother actually has this habit. Is it a lingering effect from the last time he wore my skirt? Ah, now there is an additional element of binding. This is Aling's bad idea. I originally just planned to stay in the gift box and wait for you to come back. I thought about what to give you for a long time, but I couldn't think of the right one, so I thought of giving myself to you again. Decorate the birthday venue more carefully. Tianhai Chi Minjiao curved a light smile on her lips, but obviously, my brother's current appearance is more like a gift. After Amamai Kurayuri looked around Sakakibara Raku, he smiled naturally. I also think Raku-kun is quite cute. Are you wearing a Suzu skirt? Yes, Suzu Sakakibara jumped out immediately, with an unstoppable smile on her face. Last time I participated in the magical girl cosplay for an offline event. He didn't believe me when I told him he was cute. Yuki, what are you talking about? Isn't my brother cute? Cute. Ailing, shut up. While several people were making noise, Amamai Kurayuri had already arrived behind Sakakibara Raku, reaching out to untie the ribbon. Seeing that the knot behind his hand was tied, he immediately went to the open plan kitchen to get a fruit knife. And patiently took off the ribbons on Sakakihara Raku's body. How long have Lejun been waiting for us inside? How long? About close to an hour and a half, 90 minutes. That's really hard work, Mr. Ellie. It must be hard to wait for us inside like this, right? Seeing Amamai Kurayuri cleaning the broken ribbon on her body very seriously, Sakakihara couldn't help but stay on her serious little face for a few more seconds as she teetered in front of her. While cleaning these things, she also said something to Aling beside her, saying that even if she had to tie the ribbon, she should tie it loosely. Lejun is already very tall, and it would be very uncomfortable to shrink in such a gift box. He also said that Aling was tied too tightly in some places and was not careful or heavy-handed, so he felt sorry for Ellie Jun. These words made Aling, who had been laughing secretly next to her, feel embarrassed. When Sakakihara Raku heard this and Saruri patting herself in front of her of the ribbons and debris left by the fireworks, she felt a different kind of emotion in her heart. Don't Liuli think there's anything wrong with my clothes. The clothes are quite shameful, but they can indeed be called cute. Besides, isn't Lejun dressed like this just to make me and Kia happy? Why am I laughing at Lejun? Brother, I can give you a perfect score for your attentiveness today. Tian Haikimingyu also added and nodded. Warm. This is probably the warm feeling in my heart. Li Yulai gently untied the ribbon on her body while speaking such understanding words. It was obviously their birthday, but they were unexpectedly warmed in turn. Sakakibara Raku was quite embarrassed. That Li Yulai. There's still July. How? Happy birthday. Well, Tianhai Julie Yulai smiled softly as if he heard her favorite words, thank you, Lejun. Tianhai Kaimingyu's attitude is completely opposite, someone likes to make this kind of scene particularly sensational every time. It's really true. I remember that I told my sister that we don't care about birthdays. But, this year, since you also prepared a gift, I would also like to thank you a little bit. Thank you, brother. Hey sister, Kia calls me brother. Why, can't you? I don't need to emphasize this matter anymore. Although there is no blood relationship, and it is completely different in terms of relationship, he is indeed my brother. So, Sister Chiu is actually happy in her heart, right? I'm glad that I also remember your birthday this year. For a rare occasion, Tian Haikimingyu didn't speak harshly this time. I don't deny this. So, Sister Kyo, it's very happy to be able to be with my brother. Ask my sister. My sister and I gave the same answer. Yeah. That's right, brother. Even though he's a bit too centrally air-conditioned and sometimes a bit clumsy, he's also a really good person, and he's the best at taking care of others. Asuzu, Raku Sakakihara clenched his fists at the side with a sullen face. Don't think that I won't spank you if you say nice things about me. Were you secretly taking photos of me just now? Where is it? Sakakihara Suzu smiled and put her hands holding the phone behind her back. How come I didn't know? A ring. When Suzu Sakakihara saw something was wrong, she immediately ran away and walked around the sofa with her brother who had turned into a magical girl. Stop. Ahahaha brother, don't come here. I was wrong. I was wrong. How about we eat the cake first, a 5-layer cake? It's delicious. I didn't tie you up like that on purpose just now. Yes. That was accidental, accidental. Accidentally tied me into a tortoise shell? Come here. I don't want it. Aling. Don't chase me. Yuki. Yuki. Help sister. No, please take care of your little nephew. Can't beat the music. Aling. Wrong. I was wrong. The scene of the two siblings chasing and fighting in the living room is quite interesting, not to mention the fact that Raku Sakakibara is wearing a skirt. Every time I see Lejun and Ling making trouble, I feel so happy. Tianhai Yulai couldn't help but laugh as he watched. My sister never smiled on her birthday after her mother left. She always hugged the piano. Isn't it the same for you in July? On your birthday, you will just hold a book and read it. Tianhai Kaimingyu did not deny it, she also understood that both of them were avoiding this day. But now I am standing here, looking at everything in front of me, looking at countless balloons and banners with Happy Birthday Li Yulai and Chiu, I feel a different kind of warmth, and at the same time, I feel that the lonely birthdays in the past are fake. Sister, the changes are really big. It's only been less than 2 years. Well, it's only been less than 2 years, but it seems like you've experienced a lot of things. In July, you started to laugh sincerely. Have I never laughed before? That's why I added the word sincerely. When the two of them finished chatting, Sakakihara Raku also finished taking care of Sakakihara Suzu. Seeing that she was almost 17 years old, he didn't really spank her. He just made fists with both hands and drilled her head hard. After the fun, it was time to celebrate the birthday. I asked my uncle and found out that Kyo and Liulai were born at 1:15 and 111 in the afternoon. Taking advantage of the few hours left, Sakakihara took out the ingredients he had prepared in advance and cooked 6 dishes for everyone. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, everyone was already gathered around the coffee table in the living room. In the center is a 5-layer cake, and at noon there are fresh dishes, various drinks, and various candies. At 13 hours 12 minutes and 30 seconds in the afternoon, Yuki hugged the guitar and started playing in the ensemble. During the birthday song sung by Raku Sakakibara and Suzu Sakakihara, the two sisters held hands and laughed while blowing out the birthday candles on the top of the big cake. Cheering, clapping, blessings. The two sisters promised that everyone would stay in this happy family forever. What's Sister Liulai's first wish? Well, I hope Lejun can be happy forever. Where's Sister Kyo? Sister July. Wish someone could love themselves more. Sakakibara Suzu's expression immediately became subtle when she looked at Sakakibara Raku. Brother, you are so happy, when do you plan to have a baby? Sakakihara was stunned for a second before reacting. Go, it's none of your business, Suzu. Finally, it was time to share the cake. Brother, I want to eat the chocolate on your cake. What a beautiful thought. This belongs to your sister Liulai and Kyo. In order to prevent you from eating all the chocolate on it alone, I specially left it for them. Yuki. Why don't I go and bully Yuki again? Give the bell. Yuki. Love you. Oh, I feel like the one that everyone loves the most in this family is you, Ailing. Is it? Otherwise. Hey, leave some for Yuki. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 497. It's probably been more than a month since school started, right? With the arrival of autumn, the weather has officially cooled down, and the outdoor temperature is generally around 10 degrees. There is never any need to worry about Aling and the two sisters not having suitable clothes to wear during the season. For girls, as long as they see clothes in the mall that they like, and they don't have the money, they just buy them. Sakakibara can guarantee that at least nearly 50% of the clothes in the wardrobes of Liulai, Kyo, and Aling are bought by them and never worn. As for him, he only had a few coats and a few pairs of black pants that Liulai, Kyo and the others bought for him, plus a 4-season school uniform, swimsuit, and trunks. It can be said to be very bleak. But Yuki is different. She never went out to buy things before. All the clothes before were bought for her by Uncle Ying. The old man could be said to be too careless towards Yuki in life. Couldn't he pay attention to the change of weather and that his daughter should change into new clothes? New shoes? Or is it that the old man has never managed daily life and left everything to his servants? Naturally, with the personal service of a butler, the old man simply forgot about this matter. Are you going to take me shopping for new clothes today? Well, yes, unfortunately I am the only one free to accompany you out this afternoon, Yuki. Your two sisters are both in the school department. It does not matter. Tianhai's Higsu answered not only quickly, but also briskly. As soon as she got home, she went into her room to change out of her school uniform and put on the light blue woolen sweater with a cat pattern on the chest that Julie Yulai had given her a few months ago. The lower body is paired with a short skirt and travel shoes. As for the legs, Sakakihara Raku has actually always been curious about how girls' thighs keep out the cold. With such thin skin and tender flesh, aren't they afraid of having cold legs in the future? Ellie, you've changed your clothes? Amami Nazuki quickly came to Sakakibara Raku. speaking quickly and looking at him with shining eyes. He was like a child who had been promised by his parents to take him out to buy his favorite toy. Yuki has always been expressionless. Compared to July, she is more like a real 3-no girl. She usually conveys her inner emotions through her eyes. After being together for so long, Sakakihara Raku can also see the expectation in her eyes. No, it should be more appropriately described as joyful now. Seeing Yuki like this, Sakakihara Raku felt that he also felt guilty and grateful towards her. I am grateful that Yuki likes me so much, but I feel guilty that I cannot fully satisfy all her emotions. Seeing that Yuki's clothes were almost all clothes given to her by her sisters, this feeling became deeper and deeper. It was precisely because he didn't have much energy to take care of her that Yuki became so happy when he heard that he was going out with her, right? Ellie? Let's go. Let's go out together. Sakakibara smiled at the slightly confused girl in front of him and stretched out his hand to her. Okay, let's go now. Let's try to go home early. What's wrong? Sakakihara looked at her standing there. Can I hold hands? There was hesitation in the girl's eyes, which reminded Sakakibara of Yuki in the past. If Yuki faced the situation from the beginning, he would just hand her hand over without saying anything. A pure action without any other purpose. Now, she understands the meaning of holding hands, and also understands more things that she needs to pay attention to. Is this considered growth? Or does it count as a lack of personality on her part? Sakakibara doesn't want to think too much now, nor does he want to spend too much energy on this matter now. Some are just the fact that after noticing Yuki's emotions, he wanted to take care of her. Yuki, do you still remember what I said? What did Ellie say? Our relationship. Yeah, remember. Then Yuki, tell me. Ellie is my brother who I have a good relationship with and have a good relationship with. Sakakibara laughed and reached out to touch her little head. That's what I say, but our relationship is closer than ordinary siblings. Yuki has been taking the initiative to keep a distance from me recently, right? Well, after all, Ellie needs time to spend with Zyaju and Zyoki. It's great that Yuki has such a heart. Your sister in July often tells me a truth. She wants me to be more considerate of myself in reality and life, and take care of myself more. I think this can be put aside now. On Yuki. If you feel bored or lonely, you can come to me at any time, or call me on your mobile phone, send messages to chat with me online, etc. Yuki knows how to use Line now, right? Not very good at using it yet. Sakakihara smiled lightly and rubbed her head again. You learn so quickly by playing games. Why do you learn this so slowly? Because there are too many buttons. I didn't see you saying that there are many combos in fighting games. Ahem. Back to the topic, you see, my relationship with Yuki is closer than that of ordinary brothers and sisters. We don't have to worry about small things like holding hands. Your elder sister Kyo and elder sister Liuli don't care. Oh. It's okay if you understand. Then let's go out. Good. As soon as he left the door, Sakakihara noticed that the wind was blowing outside, so he went back and got a scarf to wrap around Yuki's neck. Then he held her hand and walked downstairs. Their apartment was in a developed area of the port area, so they walked for about 10 minutes to the largest shopping mall in the port area. The biggest feeling here is the dazzling array of products and clothes. Especially where clothes and cosmetics are sold, countless brands are piled up. Sakakihara Raku has no research on clothing, and the same goes for Yuki. If Liuli Kiwiling and others were here, they would probably choose the brand to enter the store. Simply, I took Yuki around in the mall. Just buy whatever she likes. Yuki, why don't you look at your clothes? Of course, the idea is simple, but the reality is something else. Raku Sakakibara took Amamai Yuki around, and Amami Yuki simply followed behind him. After walking around for more than 10 minutes, the girl said nothing. Even when Sakakihara stopped and looked back at her, she bumped into his back and covered his head. Her answer was also simple. I don't know what to choose. Right. Yuki has little shopping experience. Moreover, the girl's clothes are said to be particularly beautiful, but before they are put on, they are just hanging on the hangers, and there is no distinguishing feature at all. If I had to use a metaphor, it would be a clothing store in a shopping mall, which is like a particularly exquisite roadside stall. In the eyes of people who have no shopping experience and relevant vision, this is just a bunch of ordinary clothes. Sakakihara understood that Yuki and he were on the same page. How about we just pick a clothing store and go in? Good. The two of them entered a house together. Well, Sakakihara Raku couldn't recognize the German on it. Anyway, it is a German brand clothing chain store. Raku Sakakibara saw that the clothes inside were quite Western-style girlish and quite thick, so he walked in with Yuki. Sakakihara Raku had no experience in choosing girls' clothes, so she followed the shopping guide and asked her to help Yuki choose clothes. Yuki was quite happy when changing clothes. Every time she changed into something, she would run to Sakakihara Raku and spin around in front of her, asking him if the outfit looked good on her. It puts a smile on Sakakibara's face every time. Yuki is so simple, no matter her actions or behaviors, she nakedly expresses her true inner thoughts. Doesn't she just want to choose the clothes she thinks are the best and buy them? This knitted sweater is good. The bunny on it is very cute. Yuki can also wear it in winter. Good. The shopping guide reminded her apologetically, "Guest, I'm sorry, my dress is a bit too big for you. It is designed for women in their 20s. No small sum?" Sakakihara asked. "No, this is the only one." Tianhai's Higsu hugged the sweater and said directly, "It's okay, it's just a little big." The shopping guide lady could also see that the customer liked this dress very much. After hearing this, she could only show a wry smile and then sold the dress according to the customer's ideas. Out of this clothing store, Tianhai's Higsu held the sweater in the canvas bag in her arms and looked around. She really wanted to put it on now, like a child who had just come out of a toy store and got the latest reward. How could Sakakibara not know what she was thinking? He was very helpless. He reached out and patted her back, and persuaded with a smile, "It will be the same when you go home and show me what you wear." "Yes, for fun," Tianhai's Higsu replied, holding the canvas bag in her arms again. "This is really asterisk. Probably to experience the fun of shopping." Tianhai's Higsu became more proactive next. "If you go out specifically to buy clothes, naturally you can't just buy one. You have to buy everything from pantyhose, shoes, skirts, and underwear. It's fine when choosing normal clothes. Go to a place where you can buy girls' underwear." Tianhai's Higsu even came here carrying a bra that suited her size and asked herself whether it looked good or not, or whether these underwear looked good. This is true. Sakakibara noticed that the way the shopping guide looked at him had changed. She probably thought of him as a pervert who abducted an ignorant girl. "Well, Yuki, you don't need to ask me about this kind of thing." "Why? Did the cat underwear just now not look good?" Sakakibara felt that he needed to emphasize the difference between men and women again, and explain to Yuki the distance between men and women, and what kind of places they should not let each other see. "If you're wearing a bra and panties, you can't see what Le said." Tenkai no Yuki's statement made Sakakihara Lenin choke for a long time. You can't show your underwear to others casually. Then why does Le always take off Xiaoqi's clothes, and also says that Xiaoqi looks particularly beautiful at that time? This is because. Sakakihara smiled reluctantly at her little face, because your sister in July and I are boyfriend and girlfriend, and this can only be done between boyfriend and girlfriend, so understand alright. Otian His Higsu looked thoughtful. Understand. I understand, so Le buried his face in Xiao Chi's skirt because he thought Sister Chi's underwear looked good. Sakeki Hararaku, dot. Maybe we should pay more attention at home. Asterisk. The time to go home is 6 o'clock in the afternoon. When Sakakibara entered the house, he looked around and saw that neither Kyo nor Liulai had gone home yet. Aling, on the other hand, posted a message on the line arrogantly, I want to eat beef curry today. I haven't had it in a long time. Sakeki Hararaku replied directly to Ichijo, do it myself, too lazy to talk to her anymore. I thought Ailing would be tougher again, but unexpectedly she started begging for herself. Sakeki Harasuzu, I want to eat. Sakeki Hararaku typed reply, want to eat, so what should you do? Sakeki Harasuzu, voice message. Raku Sakeki Hara clicked to play, and the content was an extremely annoying Uni-chan. He immediately threw his phone on the sofa in disgust. The same goes for Aling. Now that she is said to be a brother controller, she is no longer angry. Instead, she happily says, I am. So brother, why don't you hurry up and make me some delicious food? The truth is shameless. In such a comparison, Yuki now completely beats Aling. She wanted to eat, and she wanted to ask him to cook it for her. She would also squeeze her shoulders and hit her back in exchange for food. It's not that she completely dislikes her sister, it's just that at this point, Yuki behaves like a gentle sister. Yuki kept trying to show herself the clothes she just bought in the mall. The so-called women want to please those who please themselves, this is probably the mentality. Amami's Higsu is also very cute in the simple simplified style wool sweater. Her hands are hidden in the sleeves, and the short skirt is gently swaying above her legs. The official cooking time is 7 p.m. Raku Sakeki Hara took advantage of this hour to write all his homework in the living room with Amami Yuki, who had put on new clothes. To be honest, I'm quite ashamed. I haven't paid much attention to my studies recently, and I actually have to ask Yuki for help on some math problems. I really don't know if Chi-Chi tutored her too well, or if she is very smart in studies. At the same time, Sakeki Hara also discovered that Yuki wanted to get close to him when doing homework. I went to cut some fruit for dessert. Sakakibara sat cross-legged next to her. He noticed that she had something to say, so he asked her directly. What's wrong? A little sleepy. Are you tired from homework? Didn't you take a nap at noon? No. Go back to your room and take a nap. I'll call you when the meal is ready. I want to relax for a while. It's still okay if you rely on it for a while. Sakakibara simply let her lie on his lap to sleep for a while, and then continued to write the unfinished homework. Within a few minutes, Yuki fell asleep. Sakakibara stopped writing and looked at the sleeping girl on his lap. Her sleeping face, her closed eyebrows, and her gently breathing mouth. When I think of this girl following him unswervingly and silently for the rest of my life and giving up everything, I can't help but feel infinite emotion in my heart. She believes in herself, loves herself, and is willing to follow herself forever. Although I can't give her much, when she is cold or needs someone to rely on, it is the best thing to give her a small haven and let her sleep peacefully like now. Good choice, right? What? Unable to hear what she was talking about in her sleep, Sakeki Hara lowered her ears and waited carefully for 5 minutes before he realized what she was mumbling. Clothes from Limei. Presumably, even if her consciousness is in her sleep, she is still waiting for the treasure she obtained today, right? The so-called cuteness probably refers to this situation. Sakakibara smiled, pulled off a blanket from the sofa, and covered her thin body. After taking another look at her sleeping face on his lap, Sakakibara picked up a gel pen and continued to complete today's unfinished homework with the dim light of the setting sun falling into the living room.